Welcome to the grind, gearheads. That's right. It's Sunday and there is nothing on worth watching but the Blind Mike project. Make sure you go to blindmike.net for all Blind Mike links. Also check out Blind Mike's other shows, Why Are You Laughing? On the Blind Mike YouTube channel, and Who Are These Socials? On the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. And now, enough of the foreplay, gentlemen. Let's get to the grinding. Here is your host, the man Tom Myers calls a dear friend.
Blind Mike Geary!
I like that. I think this is why Hackride's mad at me. That to me is a perfect intro. Loved it.
It's probably him trying to get back at you too.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'll show him. Yeah, so I think Hackride is miffed with us after last week. He hasn't done anything wrong. I don't like him to be sore at us, you know, because I consider Hackride part of the family, and I think he took last week's criticisms to heart, and I hope that's not the case. Because there's people that think I'm wrong, by the way. I saw people in the comments. There's the thing is, I don't think Hackride, I think he sees negative comments and is like, oh, fuck, everyone thinks I suck. I do the same thing, so I look at the comments that are like, oh, Mike's being a baby, he's overreacting, Hackride was fine, you know? Hackride, I don't think, sees those comments.
We can have a new segment every week where I'll read the nastiest thing left about me, and it'll make him feel better.
Well, that's where I wanted to start today, is I hope Hackride understands, last week when we were praising Craig, like, he knows that was a bit, right? Like, Craig is a vile, disgusting human being. He's a pig of a man. And a pervert, to say the least. We've talked about that over and over again. So let's not get it twisted. Like, this is just a disgusting monster of a. I shudder to even call him a man. I don't want to give him that sort of praise.
I said it on the show last week. I was like, you said something, and I go, you know, he's not going to hear this part.
Well, I just want him to understand, that Craig is just a pig, the lowest of the low, you know? So understand that, like, that's all in good fun. But, like, you also have to understand the opposite. Like, you know, when I was going to say, like, when you fuck up. He didn't fuck up. He just did something that annoyed me. Right. And then you get mocked for a week. It's not a big deal. So I hope Hackride's doing all right. I consider him part of the family. So I don't want him to make any, you know, rash decisions. I don't want him to leave us. I like Hackride and all the great work he does. So I guess my central message is to all you, the Hackriders out there, let Hackride know that you love him. You know, go to hackridethedemon.com. He got remonetized, by the way. I saw that his YouTube channel is back.
He told me that. I thought it was very, very cool.
Yeah, so go support Hackride. I don't like him to take things too seriously. So don't let him know there's a lot of love out there for him. You know, the dicks out there will always exist, but the Hackriders, they know what's what. And some people say there's not enough Hackride on this show, you know?
At this rate, next week's show is going to start with, guys, go tell Electra that she's just the best.
Well, I mean, for someone to hear praise of Craig and not realize that's over the top, like, who would praise this man, you know?
Who would do such a thing?
Yeah, like, it physically hurt me to do. So to not understand that was a joke, you know? That's a man in dire straits.
Part of the bit was actually inviting me to Rochester.
Yes, right. Yeah, like I would ever share a car with this guy.
You stay there.
No, but I mean, that is the point is, I think pretty much every week in his intros, Hackride calls Craig a pedophile. So you do kind of have to have a thicker skin at times, you know? And this is, again, Hackride didn't say anything negative. I just feel like he's been kind of down. So
yeah,
I hope he knows.
I know something with his cats and then something personally, not like personal.
Oh, yeah, so that I don't even know. So if there's other stuff going on, for the love of God, go to hackridethedemon.com. Support our boy. He's part of the family here.
Go send him a super chat, because you can again.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So, yeah, shout out to Hackride, and we soldier on, you know?
That's right.
Try to pick up the pieces this week. We have to talk about another member of the family later in the show, our boy David Collins. But we have a lot to get to today. This is going to be an action-packed show, and I feel bad because we're recording this on Friday. It's up early for Patreon and YouTube members. God only knows what's going to break over the next few days. We could be 2 days behind the news cycle here. Right. But I'm excited to talk about a lot of it because it's very interesting to me. But first, I want to tell you to go to blindmike.net. When you're done supporting Hackride and going to hackridethedemon.com, then support blindmike.net. That's where you can support this program. Find all of our links, as was mentioned in the intro. All of the free links are there wherever you get podcasts, for not just this podcast, but Why Are You Laughing and Who Are These Socials? You can find our links at blindmike.net. Support the show for free. The more you like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, all that stuff, it gets more people to see the show. We start popping up in other people's algorithms. So the more you guys do that stuff, it genuinely does help the show, so I'm told. So keep doing it. We appreciate all the support. And then if you want to, for as little as $5 a month, you can get even more content. Bonus content and early access. For example, if you're watching this on Sunday, you could have had it 2 days earlier. And then the topics would seem relevant. You know, if today you're watching this on Sunday saying, Mike, we know this already. Imagine if you were watching it on Friday.
Just imagine.
How fresh it would seem. So blindmike.net is where you go for all those links.
It'd be pretty cool if you guys joined.
And verygoodshow.org too, right?
Yeah. Go there.
Go there and tell them, go to verygoodshow.org and tell them how much more you like Hackride than Craig.
Yeah. Sign up and tell me that.
Go to Craig's Patreon and be like, what is this horse shit? Hackride would do such a better job.
He would.
Genuinely.
Yes. It would look so much better.
He cares about his program, for God's sake.
He just knows everything.
All right, yeah, no, you're right. Next week I'm gonna have to blow Electra. I mean, guys, I make fun of her, but all right. I mean, let's get into this steel toe stuff, shall we?
Sure.
We got I was telling Carl last night that I heard Carl saying people claim that Carl is talking about steel toe to like suck Patrick Melton's dick or something like that, like kiss up to him, which I don't understand that logic really. But I was telling him I get one level down from that. Imagine being the guy that has to suck Carl's dick. That's what people consider me. They're like, oh, you're just talking about steel toe to appease Carl. And I'm like, do you understand how much I wish Carl wouldn't talk about this subject? If he would just shut his fucking mouth and let me have one, wouldn't that be nice?
Just why?
You're crazy if you think that's why I'm talking about it. It's just fascinating to me. Like, we talked about Aaron a couple times over the last year. You remember we would mention him when we would talk about these shows that, like, beg for money.
Yes.
But I didn't, and I would ask, I was like, guys, send me, I think I even reached out to Brian Johnson at one time, because I was like, can you provide me with the stuff I should be looking at to mock steel toe? Because I'm all in for it. But I just didn't. I would like watch his show sometimes, and I was like, he seems like a fine enough broadcaster. I didn't notice anything crazy about him. And then our boy Principled Uncertainty left a comment last week, and I suppose encapsulated why I couldn't understand it. He goes, Mike, you're going through the same process we all did. The first couple times you listen to Steel Toe, you're like, this guy's pretty good. And then after a while, you're like, I guess maybe he's not as good as I thought. And then if you keep listening, you're like, this man is insane. He's got something has happened. He's deranged. Like, there's something off about this guy. So let's start, first of all. Patrick Melton mentioned us, no?
Oh, yes, he did.
Let's hear that real quick.
I caught myself watching Blind Mike Project yesterday. Blind Mike Project. You ever heard of this? Blind Mike.
You seen this, folks?
You seen this? You heard about this?
These fucking podcasters have to stop. No, I'm just kidding. I actually liked it. I thought they did a good job. I found myself watching about an hour of it when they were talking about steel toe. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Patrick.
Turns out he's not blind. I never watched more of the Blind Mike Project than
When did that come up?
yesterday in my life. I enjoyed it. I thought he was an interesting guy. I thought the show was watchable and good. I don't know who the co-host guy was.
Whoa. I don't know about co-host.
I like this guy.
I think we praised Craig a little too much last week. What if he goes on to be like, but fucking Hackride, this guy taking the show down.
There would be a bomb in Venice Beach somewhere.
They were ragging on Steel Toe, which I love. They were playing some clips I hadn't seen of Steel Toe because there's so much of it. So I enjoyed it. So I fully endorse the Blind Mike Project.
Well, then I guess we've got no choice. Well, we'll keep talking about it. Like, this is the thing is, I did this with Stuttering John, where I would try. I was like, I know people are gonna say I'm just trying to hop on the Stuttering John bandwagon, so I don't want to do it. I'm gonna stop talking about him completely. But I'm fascinated by it, and I can't control these urges any longer. Like, this is, if you don't find this to be a fascinating story, what's happening to Aaron and April and Nick Rekieta, then like you just don't like this show. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But you just don't like the stuff that I'm interested in. If you don't also find this fascinating, so I'm completely hooked. So to get you up to speed, and like I said, we're recording on Friday, so God only knows what has happened in between. But let's hear Alex Stein get us caught up, because in order to move forward, we're going to have to go back at some point. But I want Alex Stein, because I thought he did a pretty good job summarizing it, to Tim Pool, by the way, which I'll tell you why this is crazy.
This is nuts.
Tim Pool is like where people get their news now. You can, I don't know how extreme he is or whatever. I don't know how respected he is, but like, no matter how you slice or dice him, this is like where people get news now. Is Tim Pool. He's got a massive following.
Kanye West went disgustingly viral on this show.
Yes. And now Alex Stein is on there, who's also a pretty big figure in that world, by the way.
Yeah,
Alex Stein is on there explaining the Dabbleverse, essentially, to Tim Pool. This is crazy.
Like, you see this Nick Rekieta drama. I'm obsessed with
I mean,
it.
this is decently big news. I mean, is there any outlets that's covering this?
I don't know. I haven't seen
Because he
it.
just got arrested, right?
You're talking about
Alex
Nick.
is like, I'll tell you one. You familiar with what Kevin Brennan is doing right now?
Arrested for scheduled possession of a scheduled substance or whatever.
But apparently, like other people as well. So
his wife, and so it gets really deep. There's this guy, Steel Toe Morning Show. That's his ex-wife, April. They're currently in a divorce.
We'll slow down. And so this one is
Tim's like, whoa. You mentioned two names to me already. I'm lost.
All right, so the part I was missing for this whole connection, I just saw. I didn't realize she was there involved.
April?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know any of this. Oh, this will be fun. This will be fun to teach you.
Okay.
So, again, this is where I have to go back a little bit. Nick Rekieta is the guy. We're going to be talking about Nick Rekieta a bit today, too. If you don't know who Nick Rekieta is, do you know, Craig?
No.
Okay, you'll be the voice of 3 listeners today. Everyone else knows who he is.
Okay.
But Nick Rekieta is like a pretty big, I don't know what you call him, but like law streamer, basically. Like he covers the law. I think he was a lawyer. And guys, I'm a little ignorant on Nick Rekieta, so fill in the blanks in the comments if you want.
Is he big on the Karen Reed stuff?
I don't know about that specifically, but yes, like that world. You know what I mean? Like he'll talk about cases like that.
Yeah.
So and like I think he's like pretty well respected and has a massive following to the point where Tim Pool is talking about it. Like this isn't just some. When I watched the clip that we're going to talk about later, legitimately, the comparison that I assumed we were talking about was unique. Scion Z. Like I thought we were talking about someone like that who's just a guy that gets shit-faced on the internet every week and talks about Brendan Schaub. But no, this guy has like a massive following, I guess.
If Tim Pool is going to him for law stuff.
So Nick Rekieta has apparently developed a bit of an issue with substances. And so let's go back to Alex because he's filling in some more of the blanks here. Oh, but I should also add, for those that don't know, Nick Rekieta became friends with Aaron and April Imholt of Steel Toe. And apparently, this is, again, according to like what things Aaron has intimated over the last few weeks, that there's like drug use and wife swapping going on between them. Nick Rekieta's married, but there's some sort of swinging element to their relationship. I don't know enough about the facts of it. I'm just going on internet speculation, but that's what I've read and heard. So, but they became friendly over the last few months or a year, whatever. And let's hear Alex Stein a little more.
Right.
for scheduled possession of a scheduled substance or whatever.
But apparently, like other people as well. So
his wife, and so it gets really deep. There's this guy, Steel Toe Morning Show. That's his ex-wife, April. They're currently in a divorce.
We'll slow down. And so this one is decently big news, but it's not great national news. But it is. I still think it hits that level. For those that don't know, Nick Rekieta he's got what 500,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
he's a prominent legal commentator who's covered big stories related, like Kyle Rittenhouse and things like that. And so apparently he's fallen onto some addiction and hard times or something.
Well, 1 year I think he was almost the top super chat getter of the whole entire year, supposedly. I mean,
he was doing long streams.
Stuttering John was second, I believe.
And I guess recently he left his camera running while he was.
Looked weird.
Taking care of himself.
That's what it looked like. His shoulder was moving in a weird way, and I know he's a lawyer and he's pretty litigious, so I don't know what he was doing, but it didn't look good. But this story is really actually kind of dark, and you probably don't know, but this April girl, she's actually a co-host of the show called Steel Toe Morning Show.
This is crazy. This is like if you put on Rogan one day, and like Dave Smith was on there. And he's like, no. So Richard Ojeda does Stuttering John's show. And like one day a week it's political, but the rest of the day it encompasses the Dabbleverse. And you're just like, what is happening here?
The guy that's divorcing her has come out and said that they're all using drugs. And then it's very random that they get arrested today because the stream just happened, I believe, 2 days ago. So something's really going on with Nick. I hope he gets help. But yeah, it's kind of big news because all the law tubers, what's really ironic is that he covers criminal cases, and now his case is going to be covered by all the law tubers. So,
okay, so you get the gist of it pretty much. But so Nick Rekieta releases this video, which we'll be talking about a little bit, and in the background you hear a voice, and people have deduced because Steel Toe said it. People have realized that was April. So April has apparently been staying at Nick Rekieta's house, and there's a lot of speculation as to why the cops were called, why these people got arrested. So we'll get into that. But now let's go back in time. Now that you have all the details, let's go back in time to earlier in the week when Steel Toe was being. Remember last week when we talked about Steel Toe?
Yes.
Actually, this is crazy when you think about it. So Carl did an emergency show. Remember how gay that was of him?
The gayest thing I've ever seen. Yeah.
So gay of him.
Yeah.
So Carl did an emergency show, and on that emergency show, he speculated that Aaron and April Imholt have been doing drugs. And Carl's reason for that hypothesis was that Aaron was saying, like, I've been doing things a father shouldn't be doing, and all kinds of stuff like that. Seemed pretty easy to read between the lines, which is what Carl was doing. And Aaron said, Carl is a liar. Why would Carl? Oh, I guess Carl is trying to move tickets, so he lied on his show. So having that information, let's go into a Steel Toe episode from earlier this week.
This one's called Freedom.
Yeah, so this is how this guy is talking about his divorce, which now makes a lot more sense. But at the time, you were like, Jesus Christ. And even now, knowing everything we know, it's like, this was his wife, right? Like,
mother of his kids?
No, not the mother of his kids. That's a different woman.
Okay.
But no, but it's like, they were married for a long time. Actually, it's funny you say mother of his kids. I don't know how true this is. I'm just getting it from Patrick Melton. It's all gossip, all this stuff. I think Steel Toe's talked about it before. That I guess Aaron, when Aaron and April got married, Aaron had his kids ask April if she would be their new mom. Now keep in mind, they live with their actual mom.
Okay.
So I hope I'm not getting that story wrong because it's hilarious to me. So again, fill in the details in the comments.
It does sound perfectly made up to be funny.
It feels made up, right? So
Yeah.
I must be getting it wrong, but I think that's true.
Oh, that would be gross.
Yeah. Well,
Let us know. Let us know in the chat.
all right. So let's hear about Aaron's freedom.
I'm in this house all by my lonesome. And I call all the shots, and I got no GM, and I got no nothing. It's for the first time in Steel Toe history, there is no boss but me.
Well, hold on a second. Does that make any sense to you, Craig?
April wore the pants, maybe.
I guess. I guess it's like if when Hackride was on, I was like, finally, Craig isn't holding me down. I don't know. Isn't it your show, man? Like he refers to her as the G. So I guess they made her GM of Steel Toe Operations. Why a podcast the size of mine needs that? I'll never understand. But you know, maybe that's why he has 10,000 subscribers and I have 7. You know, that kind of thinking is why I'm failing. I guess. Why they need a general manager, I can't grasp. But he made her general manager. So Aaron is a guy. Remember last week we played the clip of him being like, "I'm the best broadcaster to ever do it."
Yes.
So a week later, he's like, "Finally, guys, finally, you've listened to me for all these years. Now, for once, you're gonna hear me do an honest show." I would be like, "What the fuck have I been listening to?"
This sucks.
Like, as a listener, I would feel like you know, Kirk is always the example I use of a broadcaster I respect. If I was sitting there and he was like, "Guys, it's all but Bob Murchison doesn't exist," and I wasn't fired from Entercom, I just didn't like it there. It's like, what the fuck have I been listening to? It doesn't make any sense. Like, Aaron's just been lying to his audience, I guess, for the entirety of the show.
You know, like if Bob was his neighbor and they get breakfast on Sundays together.
He's like, "Oh, you got to hear what I said about you this week."
And now I get to craft a program the way I'd like to craft a program. And sometimes the way I'd like to craft a program
Say it again.
is talking about things that are going on in my life and adjacent to my life and things that are interesting.
Okay.
He already, within that clip, he contradicted himself.
Yes, you did.
He's like, "Finally, I can talk about things in my life. And you guys know me. I'm always talking about my life." Which is it?
Don't worry. This bizarre rant will clear everything up.
So this is a long one. This was wild to me. This is when I texted Carl and I was like, this is when I thought things were crazy. They get crazier, obviously, as we heard. But this is when I was like, the fuck is he doing?
But last night, I wanted to talk to my audience a little bit about the journey I've been on. That's really kind of, it's been fucking wild. If
you guys don't know, again, I'm saying this to Craig because he's not fully aware of the situation. Aaron is a 17-year-old girl. That's why he's talking about the journey that he's been on. If you didn't have that detail.
Did he write it in lipstick on a mirror and take a picture of it?
He's eat, pray, loving his way through his divorce.
I ever done anything like it in my life before? I've never. I mean, firsts all over the place, but also understanding that I'm going through a process right now where maybe. Can
I say what? Given the context we now know, the firsts that he's talking about are doing coke and Molly, and maybe wife swapping. I guess. Like. Other than that, I don't know what else he's referring to. He's like, "Oh, firsts, as far as the eye can see, like doing drugs and getting my wife addicted to them."
Are they officially divorced?
No.
There's hope for them yet.
Yeah, I think those kids will work it out.
Absolutely everything I know is not the right. It's not respectful. It's not the right way to do things. But also getting things out that I want to get out that I'm not proud of when it comes to myself. And then on the flip side of that, there are a group of people that assume I'm talking about them because they read DMs that they get, or because that they believe a tweet, or they believe it.
He was about to say because they read headlines and then realized he shouldn't.
Because they read the Washington Post.
Now, but to be fair, after this Alex Stein shit, he could go that route, and I'd be like, maybe.
Yeah. Now he's got something. But yeah, you're right. He was about to say they read all the massive headlines written about me. By the way, I think he's either talking about Nick Rekieta or April. I think he's talking about April here, as you're about to hear.
Or they believe something else. I don't delete my shows. I don't get rid of my shows. I don't get embarrassed of what I've done and take them down. I leave them up. So Don't fucking call me. Don't fucking text me and ask me, what did you say?
Now, this again is the guy who was ranting about Carl last week after supposedly not watching his show.
Well, you think if his ex-wife thought he said something, she would tune in. You'd think.
Sure, I guess. But if you get a bunch of tweets, I don't think that's crazy to text someone you know. You know, like, okay, if my girlfriend went on a podcast and was ripping into me, I would text or call her rather than go, all right, I've got to get my popcorn out and sit through an episode of Steel Toe, find out where he says this. Like, she has to sit through the whole episode rather than ask him, like, hey, what did you say?
God, it's 7.5 hours long. He didn't hit his goal.
Fucking listen to it or fucking leave me alone. Don't go and say, did you say that? I heard that you said, well, you know what? Clean the fucking shit out of your ears. Click the fucking link. Watch the thing. And so when people assume shit, the weirdest thing is when people assume shit and then respond to it without hearing it.
So this is part of where Aaron made a mistake here. Is you either have to talk about it or not talk about it. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting divorced and you don't want to talk about it because it's a legal proceeding, like that's totally fine. Or if you want to talk about it and be honest with your audience and leave everything out there. The bizarre thing to watch that Aaron is doing is he's doing both. He's not talking about it. He's insinuating things. And then when people
speculate,
people extrapolate things from the things that he's saying, he's like, why would you think that I meant that? It's like, I don't know, Aaron, because that's what logical people do. And by the way, everyone that they like, I'm sure April was right in whatever she was reading from people.
Probably.
Because every time I've heard someone talk about Aaron and Aaron say, well, they're just speculating. Why would they think that? The next night he admits that was true.
They fucking incriminate themselves to shit I never said they did.
It's a madman.
And then I get blamed like I said it. What did I say yesterday? What did I say last night on the show?
Hold on. I'll answer. I will answer this. He said he did things, because this is from Tuesday, I think. Mm-hmm. He said he did things that he was not proud of, that a father his age shouldn't be doing, and that he didn't want to be around anymore. He said, if I have kids, I don't want my kids to find out about this or ask me about this. It's not something I should be doing as a father. That's what he said. Let's hear his version.
In the last 6 months, I've done coke 3 or 4 times, and in the last 6 months, I've done Molly 6 or 7 times.
Okay, that's a little different, Eric.
A 37-year-old with 3 kids should be fucking doing. And it's not. Honestly,
what did I say? I said that's what I texted Carl. I was like, Aaron is currently screaming the amount of times he's done drugs.
Maybe it was on weekends he didn't have his kids.
Go back a little bit. I want to hear that again. I've done coke.
Go. In the last 6 months, I've done coke 3 or 4 times, and in the last 6 months, I've done Molly 6 or 7 times.
Imagine having to make that admission. Like, what a bizarre state that you're in already.
How do you know?
Yeah, you're counting them. Like, what a weird. It's also like, so if that's true, if he did coke, what did he say? Coke 6 or 7 times? 3 or 4 times, Molly 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Like, that's not an addiction. So why is April in the state that she's apparently in? Or Nick Rekieta? Like, why are they... That feels a little like a guy who's slowly admitting things that happened. Like, he went from like, hey, you know, some stuff happened I'm not proud of, to I've done coke 3 times.
In his defense, he doesn't look like a junkie.
Well, I mean, here's where Aaron kind of did win. He got the fuck out of there.
Right.
He did see the handwriting on the wall. So this is where like it gets even more interesting, because Aaron has a point to be made. Like, there is an element where he took the righteous path, but he's handling it so poorly that he's still the one being mocked, which is wild to watch.
37-year-old with 3 kids should be fucking doing. And it's not, honestly, it's not something a 37-year-old with 3 kids should fucking be around.
Facts.
And it is nobody's fault but my own. It is nobody's fault but mine. I did those things. I chose to do them. Nobody held me down. Nobody twisted my arm.
Yet every day I go on a podcast and insinuate that it's other people's fault. That's where people find Aaron weird. Is like, ultimately what he's saying is right, but then he goes on and is like, "Oh, what those guys are doing over there, I shouldn't even talk about it." It's like, okay.
I was just gonna say, like, this guy just, as an outsider, I'm like, he's just taking the blame right now.
Sure, yeah.
And then when it was nut cutting time, and life was getting fucking weird and hard and difficult and everything else, I said,
before he says what he's about to say, just that transition, I fully take back everything I just said.
Nut cutting time?
Yeah.
Well, Craig, what you're dealing with is what I dealt with a couple weeks ago, where I'm like, oh, I don't mind. Aaron seems fine to me. Like, on the surface, you hear parts of this rant and you're like, oh, he's right. You know, like, I get what he's saying. But then you pick up on little intricacies and you're like, I can't support this guy.
I just can't tell my friends I like.
And life was getting fucking weird and hard and difficult and everything else, I said, why don't I just stay home for a while? Why don't I? And you know what? Honestly, why don't I stay home for a while? And anyone who doesn't want to follow me is more than welcome not to follow me. That is fine. I will make my own decision. I have 3 children. Cut the fucking bullshit.
Okay.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he's very impassioned, and like you said, Craig, he's right. Like, that is not something you should be around if he's a father, and good for him for realizing and getting the fuck out of there. But his approach to it, as we're about to watch, is what makes people go, ugh. I can't. Even when he's right, I can't support this.
Honestly, when I saw it, I cried. There was a part of me that cried when I saw the clip.
He's talking about the not the arrest. The arrest has not happened yet in our timeline. He's talking about a clip of Nick Rekieta, the one that Tim Pool and Alex Stein were talking about, where he's fucked up on a live stream.
It's horrible stuff. It's frightening stuff. So this, and I said, I'm not going to talk about this on the show. There's no way. I'm not going to talk about this. On the show. I can't. This is fucking.
But.
But then Elisa Clip sent me this clip, and I thought, boy, you know, we called last night's episode "Those in Glass Houses," and when I saw this little dig, this little subtle dig, part of me went, "Go for it, kid. Go get him. Go old school." And then I had a little time.
Go old school. His show's been on for like 3 years.
He just started screaming about how he's a 37-year-old man with 3 kids, and he's like, my inner voice was like, "Go for it, kid.
Go for it, chief."
So I put my ball cap on.
So he's talking. So he's about to play a clip that we're not going to watch that because it's boring to me. But he's talking about a clip where Nick Rekieta makes some comment about him on his live stream. Now, keep in mind, Nick Rekieta, as we now know, was in the possession of drugs and was obliterated on this live stream. So Steel Toe sees that he makes some crack about Aaron, and he's like, "The gloves are fucking off. That's it.
Go for it, champ.
Go for it, big guy."
So don't
I
lie
called
to
myself.
and tell them that, oh, everything was great. Everything was. No, it got heated at the end. I sent him one last message.
Yeah.
It was mean. I will admit, in full honesty. Nick said something about me being lumpy, doughy, blah, blah, blah. He used way too many adjectives. It was way too wordy, like a gay creative writing major.
Yeah.
Everything's gay. Everything's gay to Aaron. It sounded like you didn't particularly like the adjectives.
He's winning me over.
Yeah, everything's very gay.
It is.
Creative writing major.
Yeah, yep.
And then he said, the world would be a better place if you killed yourself.
Nice.
So I wrote, LOL, good night, addict. And then I blocked him and got rid of the app and everything else. That was just kind of the end. And that was the end of that lovely friendship.
That would be an ending.
So that was the clip that made me decide, you know what? Let's watch a little bit of that stream from last night, shall we?
Yeah.
Should we watch a little bit of that stream?
We should.
You know, because I got narratives.
Yeah.
I got narratives to make.
So he's ready to go scorched earth.
Balls on a guy.
The fucking balls on a guy.
He's ready to go scorched earth. You hear that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He proclaims it. He says, like, I wasn't going to talk about this because I felt bad for these people. But then I saw Nick make a comment about me, so I said, that's it. That's it. Chief has to come. What did he call himself?
I was just gonna say, Chief.
The kid is ready to fight. So he's like, that's it. You've awoken a sleeping giant. It's time for to get a steel toe to the nuts. Is what you've awoken, Aaron Imhold. No more Mr. Nice Guy anymore. Now watch how he chooses to go about. This is scorched earth on steel toe, apparently.
This is Savior is the clip.
Yeah, so like this is a guy who's like, that's it. I'm sick of these guys. I'm telling you everything I think. Now listen to the immediate shift.
This guy was a friend. We did a lot of shit together in a short amount of time.
Drugs, like 6 or 7 times.
And like stuff I've never done, new experiences, all kinds of
He
shit.
keeps saying that. He's talking about drugs, right?
Yeah.
Nick Riquet didn't bring you to Disneyland, did he?
And people will refer to like a Molly experience as like, you know, wow, you know, like this changed my life. This was an experience. And that's what he keeps saying.
Yeah, right. You guys didn't go backpacking in Peru or something. It was you did drugs together.
Says I'd never been.
Mm-hmm.
At his best, this could be a good man. At his best, this could be a smart man.
He was a lawyer.
But this guy in this stream, I've seen that guy before.
Okay, now we're getting into the theatrics.
And like anybody else who drinks, there's or consumes any substance really. There's the person you know in your heart exists, and there's the person you see more often than not that that doesn't jive with that other person. There have also been times where I've had a talk with this person about, hey, do you think maybe we take it easy?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I asked that a few times. I'd ask, are you okay? Are you sure that's okay? Yeah, I'm sure that's okay. It's totally fine. And then this big, long WebMD explanation as to why it's fine.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, there, but for the grace of God, go I. What? And I didn't ask,
what?
Are you okay? Is that okay? Are you sure that's okay? Because I wanted to be some fucking nag. And that's what I always heard. I always heard, you're trying to control this. You're trying to control that. No, you know what I'd like to see? Nobody die.
Here's my thing. And this is again where it's like, listening to this, I understand Aaron's point, actually. I've dealt with drug addicts in the past that I was friends with and very close with. And it kind of feels like there's nothing you can really do, you know?
Right.
If they don't want help, there's no way you can really help them. I get that.
Yeah, if you ask them when they don't want the help, you're attacking them.
Here's the problem. Aaron is doing all of this on air.
Yep.
This is not like behind the scenes, him trying to get them help. He's like, oh, guys, I'm such a good guy. Like, I really tried to save them because one time I said, hey, you should really get some help. They were like, nah, fuck you. And I was like, well, I'll never see any of you again. This is the story that he's telling, by the way. It's like him trying to get us to be like, wow, Aaron, you really did the right thing. But if he was doing the right thing and really cared about these people, he wouldn't be having this out on air. Again, he's trying to be honest with his audience or whatever. I don't think he necessarily knows what that means. Because being honest with your audience would be telling them what was going on. Not this vague, like, I don't want to say anything, but I'm the good, just so you guys know, I'm the good guy when you do find out all the details. Like, that's, I think, the frustrating thing with Aaron. And maybe this is such a bizarre circumstance that maybe he learns from it and realizes, and maybe now without the GM there, they fired the GM at Steel Toe. So maybe without that restriction, Maybe he will start being more honest with his audience, and maybe those shackles will be off. But he just seems like a guy who's trying to convince us how great he is.
And boy, is he.
He sure is.
Why is my camera still on? Trying to shut the show down. I'm like,
This is Nick Ricada.
play the credits. No. What we'll do is we'll sit here. Guys, here's the credits.
What are we looking up at the ceiling and all this? This is.
What?
I know to some of you this is funny, but this
Hold
is.
on. Keep in mind, remember a few seconds ago, Craig? Reach back into your memory for me.
Reaching.
Remember a few seconds ago when he was like, the gloves are off.
Yeah.
It's time for the kid to enter the ring.
Yeah.
And now listen to what he's about to say. For some of us, Aaron, you just said you were one of us.
Yeah, but and I will say in his defense, like there's a chance that his ex-wife is like under the table right now.
Oh, more than a chance, my friend.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's time to go away. This needs help. And this needs help that I couldn't give any of these people.
No. You can't make people do things, Aaron.
I didn't
You
watch,
can't.
I know everybody wants me to burn it down, but I spent.
He's trying, you can hear in his voice, he's trying his best to cry. It's like, Aaron, you don't have to cry here. That's the thing is, here's what's crazy about it. It is a crazy situation that I would feel bad for Aaron for if he wasn't doing all this horse shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what's interesting about it to me is like, I feel for the guy genuinely, but then he's going on his show and putting on these theatrics because he thinks he's like winning over fans or something. He realizes this is a time where a lot of people are focused on his show, so he thinks he's creating new fans, but in reality, you're looking at it and going like, oh, he seems like kind of a phony.
Judging by the brief amount I know about this,
Yeah.
I think if he just told exactly what's going on, people would tune in.
Right. Yeah, you don't need to do that. Go back a little bit. You don't need to see him, try to pull tears out like you were moving a couch down the stairs. He's like, how do I get these fucking tears out of here? The angle just doesn't seem, I don't know how they got it in here. What the fuck?
Give any of these people.
No. You can't make people do things, Aaron.
I didn't
You
watch,
can't.
I know everybody wants me to burn it down, but I spent a lot of fucking time with this man and this man's family.
Yeah.
That's what I really hated when he's like, this is a good man.
Right.
Just admit you hate it. You think like he kind of stole your wife from you and got her addicted to drugs. That on itself is interesting. You don't have to put on these theatrics, and that might be a thing you do cry about and get worked up about on air. But if it's not genuine, people can see right through it. That's the issue.
You can go scorched earth on this guy and still not talk about your wife.
Well, here's the problem too, I think the audience picks up on this. Like a lot of times people are shitty on the internet. Absolutely. People on Reddit and in the YouTube comments can be shitty, but a lot of times they also pick up on things. And what I think people picked up on with Aaron is that it doesn't feel genuine. It feels like he cares more about what like Patrick Melton says about him, or what Chad Zumach says about him, or Kevin Brennan, or Carl. He cares more about what those guys think about him than what's happening with April and Nick. That's what people are picking up on, where it's like, oh, he cares more about hitting his goal and the fucking lights. God. I was praying for a light mention, but he's moved on, fortunately.
We'll see next week.
Yeah. But like he seems more concerned about these other factors than he does his marriage falling apart. At least that's how it seems to the audience.
Stop shaming yourself. Stop hurting yourself.
This is scorched earth.
Stop harming people that I care about too, believe it or not. I know they may not think so, but people that I care about too, that I left behind because I didn't want to be associated.
You know what I do with people I care about? I leave them behind.
Good. That's what a real man does, Craig,
Yeah.
and not this pussy shit.
Yeah. And yesterday, I guess I don't know what the timeline is. Like my kids got like strep in the other room, and I'm like, nope, we got to do this.
Yeah, we
show.
did an episode. We did. This is what a man does.
Yeah.
We did an episode of Why You Laughing yesterday, and Craig's like, when I'm done with this, I got to take my kid to urgent care. I was like, we could do it later. He's like, nah, it's fine.
Well, it's more nuanced than that, but
that's what you do to people you care about, Aaron. You just forget about them.
That's right.
I didn't want to put them or myself through it, and I have 3 children, and I can't. I can't do it. I can't go back and forth between the 2 experiences. My house and this one they're very different houses. And but that doesn't mean I don't give a shit. That doesn't mean I see this the way the rest of the internet does and goes, look, he's fucked up. I look at this and I go,
this was a friend.
5 fucking kids.
Someone you cared about.
Well, I gotta say, if that's the case, if it's a friend, you should be giving this impassioned speech to him
at his door.
No matter how many tries it takes, not just you shouldn't be giving it to us if you're not ready to talk about it. If you were honest and came on and talked about it and said, guys, I've exhausted all options. I've told Nick in April that they have a drug problem. They did a lot of fucked up things to me, and that's why my marriage ended. But at the end of the day, I do care about these people. So I've tried to get them off substances. My hope is that me mentioning it on the show will open their eyes to it. Maybe more people will get on them to get off drugs. It'll raise some attention to the fact that they have a problem. And that's why I'm coming to you people. I've exhausted all options. But instead, it seems like, and I'm using Aaron's words, the way Aaron has described this story to us. It seems like what happened was Aaron was like, hey guys, I don't want to do drugs anymore. Are you with me? And they were like, nah, we want to keep doing drugs. And he was like, all right, see you later. Like that's how it seems to, and I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I'm just going off what Aaron tells us.
I find it very funny that you sounded more concerned. In that little speech, you sounded more concerned about the well-being of these people than he did.
Yes, because I'm being genuine.
Yes.
That's the thing, is that I can say that. These are 2 people I've never met, and I can say, hey, I hope they get their shit together without going, guys, drug addiction is a serious issue. And I just don't want to see another life lost to drugs.
He's a good man.
He's a good man. He's a smart man.
5 kids.
I don't need to do that to seem genuinely concerned about these people that I've never met.
Take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, go somewhere.
Get a chip.
I've had these conversations before. Nobody fucking listened to me.
Because they're drug addicts.
I said, are you sure that's okay? Yeah. Are you sure that's all right? It got
Was
to
he
the
talking to, I'm sorry, go back a little bit. Was he talking to Pacino or Nicholson when he said that?
Yeah.
Let me hear that again.
To me. I said, are you sure that's okay? Yeah.
Am I sure? I'm just getting warmed up.
He said, say hello to my little friend.
Look, but don't touch.
Got a great ass. That's what he said about April.
I said, here's Johnny.
Yeah.
I want to hear that once more.
Oh, I rewound it.
Conversations before. Nobody fucking listened to me. I said, are you sure that's okay? Yeah.
I said, are you sure that's okay? He said, I knew it was you, Fredo.
I don't want my wife bothered anymore.
He said, what's my name? Dunkachino.
These conversations before. Nobody fucking listened to me. I said, are you sure that's okay? Yeah.
Are
Are you sure that's all right?
He sounds like Caliendo doing Pacino.
I know. Donnie.
Oh.
He's just turned into Donnie Brasco Pacino. There's a draft.
Got to the point where people got angry with me. People got annoyed with me. People got upset with me. This isn't good, man.
This is a good man.
This isn't good, man. He went from he's a good man to this isn't good, man.
Then fire me.
But there's blood on his hands, Mike.
Oh God. Please, I pray that Aaron's hands are clean here.
I will say Aaron is elite at still shots of this guy. You make him look more fucked up than he even is.
Well, but that's the thing is like, so this guy is an addict, which you can have sympathy for. Everyone, and I mean everyone, would understand that if your wife is now living with this fucking guy and he tried to get them off drugs and he was like, fuck you, and went on to talk shit about you, everyone would understand Aaron taking a victory lap over this video.
Yeah.
What they don't understand is him going, that's it. The kid is stepping into the ring. The gloves are off, baby. Put up your dukes. You're a good man. And I love you very much. That's what's bizarre about this.
Cry for help. Conscious or subconscious, that's a fucking cry for help.
And people do care, though.
I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
I wish I could ha-ha at this. Like
God, can you take some of the care away from me? I'm just too compassionate. Oh, God, why did you give me such a heart? Damn you!
This angers me. Because I got treated like a fucking pariah because I said fucking slow down.
I mean, that's him just saying, come on, Tears, where are you?
Come on. Oh, I think he just said something gay again. Something's gay again.
And I'm not going to do a gay thing any gayer than I've already done and say, oh, Nick, listen. Because
We want you to try to cry for sympathy. I think the gay jar is going off the rails.
Keep it up. You're going to be at a Hamas rally in like 5 seconds.
But I will say this.
You know what's gay is pregnant pauses for effect like this.
Well, he's collecting his words, Craig. He's very sad about this.
It's pretty gay.
He definitely wasn't happy when he saw that Nick and April were arrested. I mean, there's no way he would have been happy about that.
I gotta be free of everything involving this.
Yeah.
Because I am not going to have someone's fucking death on my hands. I'm watching a guy fucking die.
It wasn't on your hands, Aaron, until you said, like, I was in the house and I just left. Like, no one would have blamed you for this.
I would have been like, I get it.
I take that back. And here's what Aaron's ultimately concerned with, I think. There are people that would have blamed him. Assholes on the internet. Like,
Correct.
people, and I don't even say assholes derogatorily, necessarily. Like, people that are trying to be assholes.
People that'll
will
make
say
you
that-
react.
People that like want to get a rise out of Aaron will be like, hey, Aaron, it's your fault. But like, who cares about them? That's not what you should be worried about. That's not what you should be formulating this whole reaction around, is people might criticize you for something.
This is our last clip here.
Okay.
Shut it off.
Woo.
Shut it off.
Hey, Aaron,
Go.
you're controlling this.
You know what's funny is the first time I saw this clip, I was like, he's telling this guy to shut it off. Now I'm like, wait, I think he's telling
No,
him.
he's controlling it.
Right. Right.
Enough. That's like if right now Craig played me like drunk in Madawaska and was like, hey, this man has a stop it. He has a problem. And I'm like, Craig, you're the one, you can pause it right now. And you're like, enough.
I'm like, shut it off. And you swear, I'm so great.
Shut it off. Again, listen to this fake This is Aaron. When you ask yourself, why are people making fun of this? I think most people understand. Like, we pity your plight. It's a terrible situation to be in. And I'm not saying I'd handle it well, but what I wouldn't do is go, guys, I just love this man so much. And it pains me to watch him suffering. And this, by the way, is like, we didn't know anything about April being in his house or anything.
Yeah.
We just thought, like, this is a guy he kind of wants to take a victory lap on, but is pretending he's sad about it. So listen to this again. And Aaron, you must hear this. And like I said, the first few times I listened to Aaron, I liked him. I didn't have a problem with him. But like when I started hearing stuff like this, Aaron, you must know this sounds even if it's not. It sounds very fake.
I bet there's the anger's probably real, but it's coming out fake.
Yes, he's not angry that this camera is on.
Right.
Shut it off.
Woo.
Shut it off.
As his hand lingers over the play button.
Go take care of yourself.
It would be great if the other guy, I don't know who that guy is, his producer.
He kind of
would be great.
The Collinsworth slide in like 40 minutes into this.
It would be great if his producer was playing it and Aaron yells, "Shut it off!" And the guy's like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." And Aaron's like, "No, keep going. I just want to make a powerful statement here.
Pretend you're in the bathroom and you didn't get the message."
No. I just want to make people think I really care.
Inside of you, there are two wolves.
He looks like shit.
Yeah.
That looks like warmed over death warmed over, whatever you want to call it.
Like, that to me is more genuine.
Yeah.
Because you have double vision.
Just close an eye to fucking read.
Hey.
Is he going to read bumps on the paper next?
I think his eyelid's skinny.
This will exist forever, dude. This will exist forever. And by the way,
Now.
That was it.
Oh, so. Oh, by the way, I forgot. That's why I ended there. I didn't like the idea that the producer was like, "Well, it will live forever now that Aaron has played it from Steel Toe." It's like, no, it was kind of a big story before.
You know how many views this guy's original video probably has?
Right.
Ed.
Yeah. So, Aaron, very. It just seems disingenuous. That would be my one takeaway from all that. But now where are we? Are we up to yesterday with MLC?
Chad?
Yeah, so it turns out, and Aaron admitted this on his podcast, that there's a voice you hear in that Nick Rekieta video. Someone goes like, "Hey, your stream is still on," something to that effect. Aaron acknowledged that was April. But the funny thing is, like, no one knew that. And then Aaron was like, "Well, everyone knows since you could hear her voice, so I guess I'll just say it. It was April in that video." And he does stuff like that where it's like, "Aaron, you wanted to say this, so just say it. Don't look for an excuse to say it. Say it or don't."
Right.
Like, that has to be the rule. Either I'm going to say this or I'm not going to say it. It can't be the commenters have bullied me into having an opinion or not having an opinion on this.
But we got poor Chad.
Poor Chad. I mean, the guy, you tell 40 or 50 major lies, and all of a sudden no one believes you.
Hey, I'm not trying to ambush you, Aaron. I'm not trying to.
How fucking dare you?
But I'm getting tons of messages, and I don't know if you want to deal with this or talk about it, or if you know anything.
We're not reading messages. People are sending
No. You need to. You need to. This is big.
Chad's like, "Kevin, a second tower is just hit."
Enough already.
Kevin's like, "Shut the fuck up, Chad."
Everyone, I'm getting bombarded that April has been arrested today with the Ricardas, and their mugshots are online. It's all over the place, dude. You know anything?
I don't believe that.
Is that her?
That reaction is interesting because a lot of people a lot of people suggest that the clip of Nick Rekieta was out for a couple days. Steel Toe was getting ready to go on MLC. There are people that think Steel Toe called the cops on them or something to line up their arrest with his Steel Toe appearance. That to me seems a little crazy, but I've seen that speculated.
I believe that he probably called to probably help them in some way, but to line it up with an appearance, I doubt it.
Yeah, as do I, but I have seen people saying that on Reddit. I don't know that I buy it either, but I do think he may have called.
Which,
like, that makes sense to me.
I don't have a problem with that.
No,
if you're gonna call, because like they're definitely in a downward spiral to help get them clean, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think that's why he called, but yeah.
Oh, that would be my reasoning.
Yeah, no, I doubt that, but
exhaust all other resources, call if needed.
Right.
I don't think so. No, that's not. No. There's no way.
I mean, I'm getting bombarded with this. I'm not joking. It's not even
bombarded. That's been edited. That's for sure been edited.
When Nick Rekieta and his wife are in jail for possession, along with Aaron Imholt.
No, that's definitely been altered.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I don't believe that. That's silly.
I don't know.
Chad went with his instincts.
I'm just telling you what everyone's telling me.
He's being bombarded by two things.
This looks real to me.
Thank you, Gonzo. Agent Qual reminder: Snitch Zumach is a confirmed police informant.
Holy shit!
An enemy of the people. Make sure to unsubscribe from his Patreon.
That's
on YouTube
pretty real
before
reaction.
The long weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
Great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Thank you.
If I'm getting these messages, Aaron is 100% getting these messages.
It's also weird because
right now, so something's going down.
I'm just checking.
It's also weird because Aaron and Chad are enemies. Do you know about this?
I assume everyone's a Chad enemy.
Yeah, so Aaron and Chad hate each other. And Chad started saying stuff like, you and your wife are going to be... This is about a year ago. Chad would say things like, you and your wife are going to get a divorce. And all this like, he predicted it almost to the day. And yet, Aaron is on MLC like, hey, I haven't seen the whole appearance. I've just seen clips. But, like, he's on there, like, with his buddies, it seems like. Like, there's no him and Chad beef. They're totally fine. And him and Chad were vicious to each other. And yet, Aaron is going after, like, Carl for some reason.
They're saying Melton's fans did this.
Okay, it doesn't matter what they're saying. But
it doesn't matter who did it. They had it. I mean,
and what Aaron's saying is true. Like, if you're this drunk and live streaming, you can call fucking child services.
Yeah, if you go on that, I'm sorry, Kevin, I apologize. If you go on that fucked up, this is what I've been telling this motherfucker for a long time. I've been telling anybody who would fucking listen. You're putting your goddamn family at risk and everybody around you. I said the guy was a fucking ticking time bomb. I said this was going to happen.
I was right, most importantly.
See, this is what it really sounds like.
Yes. That's exactly right, Craig. That's what he should have been doing. Is like, hey, I fucking told these guys, like, if they don't get help, something like that's going to happen. And now he's in a live stream, and my fucking wife is in his house, and it's just a disaster. And I tried to warn them, and whatever happens to them, it's their own fault, because I got the fuck out of there. We wouldn't be talking about him right now, because I wouldn't give a fuck about the story. The part I find fascinating is him being like, as Al Pacino said in The Godfather. like just his horse shit reactions is what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. This one he didn't have time to rehearse.
Right. This is genuine.
Fucking family, you gotta knock it off. And he puts his wife, he puts my soon-to-be ex-wife, and all 5 of his fucking kids in danger because he's a selfish, narcissistic fucking cunt, and he can't stop himself.
There it is.
There you go, Aaron. That's just be fucking genuine, and people will be on your side, I think.
I like
and
that.
Again, there are people that won't be.
Right.
There are going to be people that say you suck. You kind of just have to deal with that, you know?
Right.
And that's the problem of having, I think, one of these shows that rely on the chat. Now, Aaron has a lot. Aaron has more like topics and shit prepared than Kevin Brennan or John or any of these people.
Yeah.
But he does like look at the chat a lot, and I think that becomes the problem with that. Luckily, I just have Craig read super chats when they come in. I can't see them, so
That's not what they
that's
think.
that's where I am lucky, I guess. But that is the problem, is you feel like you become beholden to them or something. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. Pretty fucking wild, and God only knows what's broken in between us doing this show and it coming out on Sunday. So
Oh shit.
that's why you get on the Patreon, folks. BlindMike.net. Become a member on YouTube or Patreon.
Where do we go next?
Yeah, that was a lot. Maybe we should have ended with that. But we get lighter as it goes on, I think.
Yeah. Stuttering John, then probably.
I say we talk about Joe Rogan and
Okay.
and his
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah, this is a good like. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is a good palate cleanser, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to some podcast on Spotify, and I have it set so that another podcast just starts afterwards. One Spotify thinks I might enjoy, and I think they nailed this one.
Yeah.
Because I don't listen to every Rogan episode. But Joe Rogan popped on, and I didn't have time to turn it off. If I saw the guest was Terrence Howard,
Never would have watched it.
I would have said, no interest. See you later, Joe. Call me when you have someone else on.
If he talks about Jesse Smollett, I'll listen.
I wouldn't have even given a fuck about that, really. You know?
I
I'd be
would.
like, it's two actors that worked. Who gives a shit? It's not like Jesse told him his plans or anything.
Right.
So I couldn't have given less of a shit that Terrence Howard was on Rogan. But luckily, Spotify just started playing it for me, and I swear to you, like I went to change it immediately. In that 30 seconds, I was like, ooh, I might want to listen to this for a second. You can hear the intro music in our first clip.
I was gonna say the intro music's still playing.
These are the first words said on Terrence Howard's Joe Rogan appearance.
How did you get started with all this?
By the way, real quick, do you know what's on the table? Because it doesn't show it.
No, why?
Because it's like he's got merch or something. Because Joe Rogan's looking.
Oh, I do know. I mean, I don't, but it's something he was mentioning throughout the episode, and it seemed like he was kind of pitching. He wanted. It felt like he wanted Jamie to invest in whatever he was talking about. I didn't really understand it, but
Okay, I guess it doesn't matter then.
yeah.
How did you get started with all this?
I didn't come into this world the way everybody else does. I don't.
All right, I'm hooked.
I'm in.
I said, well, this sounds fucking insane. Let's give it a try.
We need it.
To think that everybody had the similar experience, but like if I asked you, what was your first memory in life? What would it be?
I don't think I know.
My first memory was almost like when you're dreaming and you're falling and you hit the bottom and you wake up.
Been there.
That was my first memory, but I didn't wake up here. I was inside my mother's womb.
Okay. All right, Terrence.
Mike puts his phone back in his pocket and sits down.
This is a guy gets up from a negotiation and someone just blurts out $40 million. And you're like, I'll sit back down. Let's talk turkey here.
About maybe 6 months inside the womb. And I'm like, okay, don't forget I'm here. Okay. Don't forget. You go to sleep.
While in the womb?
Wake up.
Yeah, I just want to make something clear for everyone. If you're like, oh, I must be misunderstanding because it sounds fucking insane to me. What I thought he said sounds so bizarre that a human being certainly didn't just say it. No, you're right. Terrence Howard just said that his first memory is being in his mother's womb. And not only was he conscious enough to have the thought and retain it for how old's Terrence Howard? In his 50s, I imagine?
Yeah, something like that.
50 some odd years he retained this thought. He also had the presence of mind to say, all right, little Terrence, you're going to want to hold on to this memory because one day you're going to be on the Joe Rogan Experience. What is that? Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out.
He's
And
55.
you're going to tell this story. 55. All right. So almost 56 years ago.
55 and a half years ago.
Yeah, his first memory is from 56 years ago. He's a 55-year-old man.
Things moving in front of you, and you're like, oh, that's my friend. But I had a different name for it. I didn't know it was my hand. But I knew I had a title for it. Go back to sleep, all of those things.
So
then
he developed a language.
That's
He's
what
like,
I'm saying.
he's like, of course. Well, now listen, I'm not crazy. I'm a fetus. Obviously, I didn't call it a hand. Of course, I had a different name for it.
It was friend.
Hello, friend, I said. Now, you got to cut me a little slack here. I was a zygote.
You get ready to come out. I remember all of that.
You remember coming out?
Joe
This is
Rogan.
why,
What the
can I
fuck?
tell you why? This is why Rogan's a great interviewer. Because he doesn't say, that sounds fucking nuts, the way every other human being would.
Right.
He says, interesting, Terrence. Tell me more.
I do want to hear him with like Bill Maher because he'd be like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, well, now, here's the other end of Rogan. Is like, Rogan might be like, okay, I'm buying it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the bizarre part. But I do like that he's like, just go off, Terrence. What else you got to say?
You remember being born? I remember
This is proof, by the way.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's hear it.
being circumcised. I remember the whole nine, and the proof of it was when.
Oh, good. Well, now, I listen, I'm a cynical guy, you know?
Yeah.
And I say, that doesn't seem possible. Show me a little proof, Terrence. What's the evidence that you remember being in the womb, traveling through the birth canal, your birth, your circumcision? Now we're spanning quite a period of time here. And you remember all of it. Prove it to me, Terrence.
Pregnant with my son, Kieran. I wanted to prove to her what I was talking about. So I put a light on her stomach every day at 6 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And I would move that light back and forth, and I'd put a song on for a week straight. On Saturday, after a week, I didn't put the light there, and I didn't do the music.
My God.
And he pushed up on her stomach. And then when I put the light,
Oh my God! Say no more, Terrence.
Now, I don't want to be rude to Mr. Howard here.
Yeah, please don't. This man should be treated with respect.
I feel like that's something nurses tell you to do.
Shine a light on the stomach.
Like listen to music and all that stuff. Talk to the belly.
Oh, you simple fool, guys! I apologize for my friend Craig here. He's dim-witted. He's not. He's not a very bright man. Don't you understand? When they didn't do it, the baby kicked.
Is he just
Need I say more?
Is he just proving that the kid's alive? Like we know.
No, you idiot. The baby kicked in the womb, so it remembers being in there, I guess.
bring the light. And for the next 2 months, we did this every night, and he would go all the way around her belly, back and forth, always pushing on it, you know.
All the way around her belly, because that's how the fucking birthing system works.
That's right.
Stand at the time that maybe I've interfered with the development process, and maybe he's wrapped the cord around his neck. I shouldn't have done all of this, but it came out wonderful and fine. And this little boy, first thing he wanted to do is see light. He loved lights.
Hold on a second. I want to just go back a little bit. Can you imagine if this kid hung himself on the umbilical cord because this asshole was shining a light around the stomach? Kid's like, woo!
Dark.
Feared with the development process, and maybe he's wrapped the cord around his neck. I shouldn't have done all of this, but it came out wonderful and fine. And this little boy, first thing he wanted to do is see light. He loved lights from that early stage. And I can ask
no further questions, Your Honor. This man is innocent. I don't think for a guy that's claiming to be as bright as Terrence Howard is, I think he knows what the word proof means. Now, there's a little more left of this clip, so maybe he'll go on to explain. But he said, I remember being in the womb, saying to my hand, hello, friend. Of course, I didn't know the word hand. I knew the word friend. But,
And had a great.
but yeah, I saw my hand, had a conversation with it, thought we were buddies. Oh, the times we had back then. Then I remember traveling through my mother's twat, coming out, snipping my own umbilical cord, ripping the tip off of my dick. I remember all of this. Here's proof. I shined a light on my wife's stomach. My kid likes light.
So therefore, I remember.
Therefore, it's not. Here's the thing. It's not that his kid remembers that. He's saying, my kid likes light. That's how you know that I vividly remember my journey through the birth canal.
I can ask him the square root of 2, the square root of 5, the square root of that, the square root of pi, the square, and he will.
Hold on. Go back quite a ways, because we must have missed a lot.
Boy.
All of a sudden, he's talking about math.
Pushing on it. I didn't understand at the time that maybe I've interfered with the development process, and maybe he's wrapped the cord around his neck. I shouldn't have done all of this, but it came out wonderful and fine. And this little boy, first thing he wanted to do is see light. He loved lights from that early stage. And I can ask him the square root of 2, the square root of 5, the square root of that, the square root of pi, the square, and he will run it off.
So he's autistic.
It's just like his personality is like Forrest Gump.
I was just gonna say he.
Well, so let's take the beginning and end of that clip. Terrence Howard said, "Joe, I remember I was in the room. You want some proof? My kid is retarded." He's exactly like Forrest Gump. That's how you know I remember being circumcised.
Oh my God, Terrence!
What is he doing? Is he insane?
Terrence, get your kid an early intervention and help him. Don't do whatever the fuck you're doing.
Listen, my son has braces on his legs, and he has folksy Southern witticisms. That's how you know.
My son said he wants to grow up to be a shrimp boat captain.
my son fucked a lady with AIDS, and that's how you know I called my hand my friend in the womb.
Joe, my son might not be a smart man, but he does, in fact, know what love is.
Oh, Joe. Joe, you think I don't remember my mother's womb? How about you ask my son's friend, Lieutenant Dan? I guess all the shrimp we have at our house is just a lie then.
My son went away to camp and his best friend Bubba didn't come back.
My son knows multiplication and is like Forrest Gump. That's how you know I remember all these things.
I mentioned he's really fast.
Oh, this kid is a ping pong champion, you know? And if he's, Joe, I'll tell you, if he's awake, he's running. And that's how you know I have these clear memories.
Now, I know you're not going to believe this, but my son actually taught Elvis how to dance.
Oh, you must remember the womb. Joe's just like, why did you waste my time with that whole story? Just say your kid's like Forrest Gump, and naturally I'll think, oh, you remember the inside of your mother. Now, well, hold on. Not so fast, because I want to say this. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing about Terrence Howard, and here's the thing about me not being particularly bright. The more this podcast went along, I'm like, I can't disprove anything he's saying.
I can't either.
You know, like there's some wacky stuff, but he goes on to talk about the periodic table of elements, and he's like, I've constructed my own periodic table because the periodic table that we have is bullshit. And I'm like, well, I can't argue him on that. I don't know. He's like, why is it shaped like a box? And I'm like, why is it shaped like that? I don't know, Terrence. Good question.
But he's gonna get into Inception here.
Okay, this is again. So, I believe he thinks the film Inception. I believe directed by Christopher Nolan. Yes, starring Leo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's true.
That famous documentary that he puts a lot of stock in. It seems.
God.
And he would hand me these shapes, and each shape was different and amazing. And I woke up from that dream. After that moment, anytime something strange would happen in a dream, I had the powers of inception. Anytime I would be naked at school, I would say, I'm not naked. I must be dreaming. And immediately I would run out of the school or run out of wherever I was, and I would find that mansion again. And I had access to all the knowledge. The proof of it is the 97 patents that I have now.
Okay, again, Terrence, I don't think you know what proof is. You know how you can be, listen, Joe, you want to be certain that I have the power of Inception, which, by the way, I don't think you saw the movie. Because Inception is you go into other people's dreams.
Right.
He says, I have the power of Inception. If I'm naked at my school in my dreams, I know it's a dream.
Mike, I don't know if you're not listening to this man.
I'm sorry, please.
Clearly, he has a dream. He recognizes he's dreaming, and he wakes up. So he remembers his mom's womb.
Do you think that Christopher Nolan was talking to someone, and his buddy was like, "Yeah, last night I had this dream, and it seemed really, really realistic." And then at a certain point, I was like, "Oh, I'm dreaming," and Christopher Nolan was like, "Great mother of God." Time to put pen to paper.
Yeah, he took Terrence Howard on to go over the script the way that Francis Ford Coppola took The Mob on.
Finally, my next masterpiece. A guy that realizes he's dreaming sometimes.
97 patents that I have now. The proof of it is the industries that I've innovated.
Okay, I got a couple questions about that. So he says he has 97 patents.
That's a lot.
This is again where I'm pretty dumb, so I can't refute anything he's saying. Does it need to be a good invention to get a patent?
I don't believe so. It just has to be original.
Okay. If I said, hey, I've got this device that tickles your belly button and stays in there all day. I could probably get a patent for that, right? If I mock up a prototype.
Just this stays in there all day.
Well, it's got to be unique and original,
All right. I can't add to that.
So having a patent doesn't mean you're a genius, I guess is my question.
No.
Okay, well, he's got 97 of them, so that must mean something.
He's going to go into this greater self here.
Okay, good. Oh, but he talked, he's like, the industries I've innovated. And again, I'm like, I'm pretty dumb. Maybe he's changed science or something, and I'm just not aware of it. I thought he was kind of a mediocre actor, but
no, he's great.
When by the way, kudos to Joe Rogan and Jamie and whoever else is involved in booking at the Joe Rogan Experience, because I saw Terrence Howard pop up, and I was like, okay, the fourth lead in Crash, who gives a shit? But no. Boy, was I wrong.
The proof is all the stuff that I've been able to do now.
Why does every clip start with this?
Stop saying proof, Terrence. You don't know what it means.
Of all these patents, you still don't know how to define the word proof.
The proof is all the stuff that I've been able to do now.
So all these thoughts.
You gotta say this to Alex Jones. If people say oh, what's Alex Jones really ever been right about? He might have a crazy answer, but he's never said well, you should see what I can lift at the gym. It's he at least has some semblance of facts in his mind to back it up. Terrence Howard is so off the beaten path. He's like, you want proof, Joe?
Alex Jones has plenty of proof about being right on plenty of things. Now, is he a psychopath? Sure.
You want proof, Joe? I'll give you some proof. My kid sits on a bench and tells strangers stories about his life.
He's obsessed.
Need I say more? Jamie, pull up a clip of my son telling people stories.
He actually patented the phrase "life is like a box of chocolates."
Jamie, pull up my kid winning the Oscar in 1994, please.
My son one time ran across the entire state of Alabama, and while doing so, wiped his face on a shirt, the smiley face logo you see everywhere. Have a nice day.
The time you were a baby. These are not things that you've learned. These are things that you
Hold on, go back a little bit because I want to hear. This is again a very good question by Rogan, and it's a skill I certainly don't possess. Where I would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Terrence?" Joe, he's very zen. He's got the presence of mind to be like, "All right, let's go with this."
Okay.
The proof is all the stuff that I've been able to do now.
So all these thoughts are from the time you were a baby. These are not things that you've learned. These are things that you had in your mind from the time you were
If I can translate for Mr. Rogan, and maybe I'm not qualified to do that, but if I may give it a shot. What Joe is saying there is the rest of us saying, I'm sorry, are you saying like you did shrooms and thought of this later in life? Or are you suggesting that you have these memories of being a baby? And Terrence is like, oh, please, come on, Joe. Why even? Don't insult me.
Before that time, because I remembered that I had been someplace else before. Now, what's interesting, that voice that I heard, that's my voice now. So it was like my greater self.
Did you hear Rogan's reaction? Whoa.
I think Rogan's kind of buying it.
He's high enough that he's like, I'm in.
He's got to be stoned out of his mind.
They have to be.
So Terrence is saying that like when he was a baby, adult Terrence Howard was like, hello, Terrence. I'm you. This is your hand. Oh, here comes your mother squeezing you out. Let's go for a ride.
Voice that I heard, that's my voice now. So it was like my greater self was leading me through and periodically.
You know what? I got to give Rogan a little credit. I think that could have been a whoa, like, this guy must have some good stuff. This guy, whatever this guy is taking, I want some of it.
Jamie, please open this jar for me. I need to drink all of it.
In other dreams. And I went off and became an actor because my mother wanted my little brother to be an actor. And I thought if I became an actor, I would get my mother's affection. It wasn't until my mother was dying and I'm talking to her. And she told me the reason that she was babying Antonio was because he had asthma. And my father always had questioned whether it was his son or not.
His mother, by the way, if you're wondering, fucked the principal of the kindergarten to get
to help Antonio get through school.
Yeah.
So much like the family and didn't look so much like him. And I realized, my God, if I had followed my proper course, I could have saved my mother because the knowledge that I had, I had the grand unified field equation. I had already put that together. And at 7, 8, I was working with these things. And then I went through all of the hell that I had to go through.
Now, this is all just to prove that he remembers the womb. Are we still on that?
No, we've moved on to now the periodic table is involved and there's 97 patents and a few other things are in the mix here. But what he is ultimately saying is like, and this is such a goddamn shame. I fucking hate how life works. Where this guy had every answer to every question that's ever been asked, except which career should you choose? Fuck! God damn it, he chose acting.
He did it so meh.
Oh, he was such a okay actor. When he could have saved the world. I mean, like, think about everything, what's happening in Israel and Hamas right now.
It's true.
Wouldn't be happening. If Terrence Howard just made the right choice, we probably would have avoided the pandemic. There are things that are now our realities that we could have avoided if, God damn it, Terrence Howard just didn't pick up a script.
God, this motherfucker. He's so
It's a
selfish.
It's a shame.
This is our last clip, and it's 1 times 1.
Oh, well, you're familiar with this one, right?
The equation?
This, yeah.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you, what's 1 times 1?
God, it's not 1 to him, is it?
Oh, Craig. Such a simple fool. It's not 1 to any of us, you moron.
Oh.
Man, don't turn my phone off. Don't do that. Every
Oh,
time I get ready, well, because I know they're watching me right now and they're mad at me.
Oh, you know what? I should preface this a little better.
Thinking more and more about the Jim Brewer clip from last week?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you said that. So last year, maybe a couple years ago, I forget when exactly, but a clip of Terrence Howard went viral because he was explaining to someone that 1 times 1 is actually 2. His reason for that, I have no idea. But as you're about to hear, the government wants to put a fucking end to that sort of thinking.
The people that want that, our entire world economy is based off of the politicians and the authorities that give the politicians their accreditation. And those authorities, those universities are all based, their entire curriculum is based off the Platonic solids. And our world economy is based off of 1 times 1 equaling 1.
You think they fuck with your phone?
Oh, I'm sure of it, because now I couldn't even, I have to turn it off. For
Hold on, I want to hear this too in a second, but our world economy is based on 1 times 1 equaling 1. The whole system will crumble if I disprove them. It's not a conspiracy, it's math.
I like him being like, they're making me shut my phone off, and Rogan's like, do you ever drop it? And he's just gonna be like,
oh, well, listen to this, because this is Rogan. Finally, you're getting like a taste of Rogan being like, this guy's a little nutty.
And our world economy is based off of 1 times 1 equaling 1.
You think they fuck with your phone?
Oh, I'm sure of it, because now I couldn't even, I have to turn it off.
Do you ever drop your phone? You ever drop your phone?
I've dropped my phone a number of times, but
you ever think that might be what's going on with your
phone? And then I buy another phone and the same thing happens.
My God, Terrence. The government must be bugging you because you've changed mathematics.
By the way, that was all like the first 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, believe me. I couldn't sustain it long. I just wanted to give you enough of a taste that if you have the mind for it, if you're ready to have everything you've ever known be fucking derailed, if you're ready to have your mind blown, go listen to Terrence Howard on Rogan. I could only stomach the first 20 minutes or whatever it was, but
insane.
He really is. So yeah, he's doing this thing where it's like 1 times 1 actually doesn't equal 1, and it's kind of like when Kyrie Irving was talking about flat Earth and stuff. People would say like, "Oh, well, they want you to believe that," and it's like, well, what would anyone benefit from it being not true? You know,
that's a good point.
But he throws in stuff like, I'm not even smart enough to remember the words he said. He said like the parabolic solids or whatever the fuck he said. He throws in shit like that where I'm like, is he a genius?
See, I enjoyed him in the first Iron Man.
Is he our greatest mind ever?
He might be.
I forgot he was in the first Iron Man, and he had to leave that to get 97 patents. How about one invention instead of 97 patents?
I thought he was really good in that movie. I actually wish he stayed on for the rest of them.
He actually that was all real, by the way. Terrence Howard built that suit for Tony Stark.
Yeah, he built the whole set too.
Yeah.
Those robots he uses, Terrence Howard's.
Yeah. Gee, what a fucking nut. I had no idea. And then when he started talking, I remembered the 1 times 1 clip. See if you can find that, actually, before we move on here.
The 1 times 1 clip?
Yeah, just type in, like, Terrence Howard 1 times 1 or something. It should come up.
On the YouTubes?
Yeah.
Maybe actually Twitter, probably.
It might get bogged down now because everyone's talking about the Rogan appearance, though.
That's true.
I didn't think I'd have to negotiate with you to find this, but here we are.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
Towards the center. Here we go. From the beginning.
Oh no, it's not. So it's not from Rogan. This is from a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
If it's going to be a whole thing, most people have seen it, so it's not a big deal.
Terrence Howard shares his innermost thoughts.
All right, never mind.
We'll
Not
find
worth
it. I'll find
Not
it
worth it. You guys find it on your own. And watch
next time.
But it's crazy because he's like, no, 1 times 1 doesn't equal 1, and the person's like, all right, go ahead. And he's like, it actually equals 2. And they're like, yeah, but the whole point is 1 time is 1. And he's like, no. He's like, it has to be greater. And it's like, okay. It's like, if everything we've known is a lie, can't we just live with the truth then, you know?
Is 1 times 2 3? And are you just doing addition, you idiot?
Right. But yeah, so Terrence Howard, I wonder what he thinks of the number of subscribers we have on Patreon and YouTube. I wonder what that equals out to, because you can go to blindmike.net to find that out. So go do that.
I don't think it's the same number he's going to tell us.
He's like, it's actually 5 people. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
That's genius. He must remember the womb.
All right, let's move on here. Let's do Stuttering John real quick. This should be a quick one. But Stuttering John, just a couple things caught my eye for you guys to keep an eye on. I don't know what the show schedule is going to be like next week. We might be recording even earlier in the week.
Ooh.
So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure what's happening. But I just wanted you guys to keep an eye on something. So Carl is doing Carl and Patrick Melton and Tukey and another gentleman I won't name for the segment we're doing later. But a bunch of people are going to this Hackamania in Vegas. Tickets now available, I suppose. And they might have a special guest there, I'm hearing. So I wanted to talk about John a little bit because he intimated some things that I found very interesting this week.
That's the big news. I'm going to go to my son's graduation.
Imagine that being big news in your life.
I'm going to be taken off.
That should just be a given, John.
My son has allowed me to see him for the day. Big news, everybody. There's one day I won't be. I mean, massive news. I've decided to pay child support.
My wife said I could talk to him on the phone once every third.
Oh, did you hear? So there's a story that came out recently because someone found like an old podcast of John's or something. And these are John's words. It's kind of like we were talking about with Aaron earlier, where this is from John's perspective. So imagine how crazy that is. John was telling this story about his kid coming over to visit him, and the kid had to sleep on the couch in his apartment. And I guess they were like, the couch was such a mess. There was like cat hair on it and stuff that the kid didn't feel comfortable like sleeping. He's like, can I get like a sheet or something? Like he complained about it. Which, based on the state of John's apartment on a regular basis, that seems like a pretty valid complaint. I'm not going to fault the kid for that.
Yep.
So the kid was like, I'm not going to sleep here. And John was like, oh, quit being a baby or whatever. And so the kid complained enough that John was like, I'm bringing you back to your mother's. And then John, the way John tells the story is that the kid got out of the car and was like, all right, Dad, I love you. And John was like, just get out of here. To his own son.
Terrible.
Yeah, so that, I guess it is big news that he's going to that he got invited to the graduation. I suppose that is big news.
Big news, I made the cut.
That's right. I gave notice. I'm going to be driving across the country with my pretty much brand new television, throwing out the bed.
Hold on. What a brag. My pretty much brand new television.
Why is he not flying?
I guess he's moving his stuff. Well, Craig, as we're going to find out, there's a few stops he wants to make. But I guess he's moving his stuff. So he has to drive, which is, I don't know, does Stuttering John have so few items that he can drive them across country by himself?
If he gets a U-Haul, maybe?
I guess. I don't know what his plan is. But listen, this is a man with an almost new television, so who am I to question him?
It's pretty good.
Throwing out the couch, throwing out this wonderful table that I'm on, this coffee table, throwing out almost everything.
Imagine, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting it, but imagine needing to tell us, like having such little to talk about. You're just listing things in your apartment.
Yeah, I know I started this stream. I'm sorry, guys. The lighting kind of sucks.
Like if I just came in with nothing, I didn't have the steel toe stuff, the Rogan stuff, Stuttering John, any of it. If I was just like, well, guys, I got a fan here. There's a walking pad over there. There's a bunch of shit we could probably throw out over in the corner, but that's taking up space. Behind me, I mean, you see what I've got behind me, but I'll list it. There's some photos. There are books on the shelf there.
Quincy.
Who gives a fuck, John?
Packing a Mercedes, driving across country.
Brag.
So the shows we.
He didn't say the year of it. It was a brand new television, but it is a Mercedes.
I've been told it's like a 2012 or something like that.
Okay.
Broadcast
pretty sweet.
from hotel rooms everywhere. So keep those super chats coming. I need to pay for a lot of gas. I got to get a canvas kitty carrier. And I got to.
Wouldn't it be way cheaper to fly and
Yes.
move all this stuff out there? Like pay a moving company or something?
You can get a 75-inch TV for like $350 now.
Well, that too. You could just buy new shit. Like he's had, so I guess he's moving it all to his home in Florida. I think if you're gonna buy a second home, you should be able to furnish it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need to take all your stuff, move it back and forth.
To be fair, he says throwing the couch and shit out.
Well, that's big, and that way, and you know what? It's important that we know that.
That's true.
I always think I worry as a broadcaster. Like I've never told you guys about my couch, and I feel like you guys think I'm kind of a phony because of that.
I didn't want to say it.
It's from Jordan's Furniture. I'll just let you in on that. I know. Listen, I know. I don't like to, but I never mentioned it because I don't like to brag.
That's a pretty big brag. They're not cheap there.
I know. You're telling me, pal.
There's some business there.
Oh, go back. I'm sorry. Go back a little bit. First of all, I love Smug John, but I want to hear this again.
And I got to first stop Las Vegas. I got to take care of some business there.
What is that voice he's doing?
But I look forward to seeing my son graduate valedictorian.
This kid's going to Harvard, I think.
Sister.
Really?
Yeah.
Although Lady K will call my kids losers, right? That guy is
I
wrong.
forgot. The original reason I pulled this clip was we just did Into the Dabbleverse, Stuttering John, and Why Are You Laughing? And we played the clip of Carl calling John's kids losers. And as Craig pointed out, it's pretty clear he's joking.
Yes.
But also the important thing to remember is that was 3, maybe 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. More than that, I think.
I think that was 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The rest of it is more than that. But yeah, let's call it 3 years ago, just to be on John's side here. Again, this is where I'm like, I tried to do that episode unbiased, and I think I did. That's the crazy thing about John. But like, he's still. Oh, Lady K called my kids losers.
They are.
It's like, John, if they got into Craig, how dare you? Don't slip that by me. I don't want that blood on my hands.
I'm joking.
John, your kid got into Harvard. Let's take John at face value here. Your kid got into Harvard. He's a valedictorian. And let's pretend for a moment Carl thinks your kids are losers. Who gives a fuck? You know, like, who cares? What does that do to anyone? What you can do is, like, if the name Carl Hamburger ever comes up, you can be like, oh, I know that guy. He's a loser. He was an asshole to my kids.
Done.
And then move on with your day. You know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be so obsessed. Like, he's still thinking about that at every turn. And now anything his kids do, like, ho, Lady K is going to pay for eat his words.
Although Lady K will call my kids losers, right? That guy is wrong.
I liked where it cut off there. That guy is wrong. Yeah, probably a lot. Most humans are.
That's right.
Just fucking move on, John. It's fine. So he suggests he's going to see his friends in Vegas there. So we'll get back to that in a second. But another thing I wanted to point out, again, the similarity with the kid stuff. He's ready to rumble at the drop of a hat.
Right.
If Shuli wants to fight him, he's ready to go.
Let's see. Shitway, you do realize that George Foreman came back into the ring and fought when he was 5.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second.
Is he comparing himself to George Foreman?
I forgot how this started. So John's been challenging Shuli to a fight. And I guess at one point Shuli was like, bring it on, I'll do it. And then I think when it came up again, Shuli was like, I'm an old man, I'm a father. No, I'm not going to fight John. But he said, like, I'm an old man, basically. I'm not going to fight John. I'm not going to box John. And this is John's retort here. Or I'm sorry, Shuli called John old, is what I should say. He's an old man. And this is John's.
George Foreman came back into the ring and fought when he was 45, Shitway. So you're approaching 50, but you're too fraidy. You're too afraid to fight me.
I was right.
This guy on the last show.
So oddly, he's actually comparing Shuli to George Foreman.
He won that fight.
It's even crazier. In my mind, I was like, oh, he compared himself to George Foreman. This is great. So he's saying, Shuli, you and heavyweight champion George Foreman should with ease be able to fight well into your 40s.
Oh, like, come on, let's do it. What happened? What happened? Skull. Fucking guy.
So John, since he's been back for almost a year now, he's been saying, I want to box Shuli, Levy, Mike Moores, all these people he wants to box. Lady K. Now, I would suggest, if it did come to that, if they set up a boxing match and it actually went through, here's what would happen. I don't know who would win. There would be a boxing match, not very skilled. There would be a pretty sloppy boxing match. Whoever won, well, some people would, no matter what, be like, Shuli's a fucking loser. Some people, no matter what, would be like, John's a fucking loser.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever won, let's live in a world where John wins. That's the most fun.
Yep. Yes,
John wins the fight. He beats Shuli. And then what happens is the same as every other day since John has started this Dabbleverse. Is John does his show and takes a victory lap and says, finally, I beat the shitwayer. Do you all see now that I beat Shuli in a fight? And then the next super chat he will read is, hey, you're a drunk and a deadbeat dad and a liar and a loser. And then he argues with that person and says, oh, you want to go now? I beat Cabby, I beat Shuli. It's crazy. Like, it won't, I don't know what John thinks it's going to solve. And it is hilarious. As much as I've wanted to stop talking about this motherfucker, I just accept I never will, because it is consistently hilarious to watch him behave like this.
But we have one last clip of John talking about Vegas some more.
Yeah, so this is he elaborates a little further on Vegas. He kind of insinuated the day before, he's like, I'll be making a stop to Vegas. See a few of my pals. Like, it felt like John's always like he lives in a mafia movie where he thinks he's like intimidating, where, you know, Carl and Patrick Melton are gonna be like, oh no, not 5'5" John. I hope he doesn't stop by the public place we're doing a show at.
Which would enhance our show and kind of almost make him fall into our trap.
It would be if John, you know, they're streaming it too.
If he showed up, it would be a huge pop.
They're streaming it. So if John showed up, that would get on Twitter and all over the place. The amount of people that would buy their fucking stream just to see what happened.
Yeah.
So John is gonna show up in Vegas. Let's hear about it.
Oh, I know where my first stop's going to be. Oh, don't worry. My first stop's going to be at somebody that had a picture of my kid on his show for a bunch of days, and I'm going to be there.
It might have a hunch in this area.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Then I'm going to mosey on down to to see my good buddy Lady K and Rocco Burrow.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun over there, Quad. It's gonna be fun seeing all these fucking tough guys behind their little computer boards. When I show up, let's see how tough they are.
Computer boards.
What do you think?
Computer boards.
So you know what's funny is we talked about this with Brendan Schaub a few weeks ago, and we were like, you know what? Brendan Schaub is a comedian, supposedly. He should be able to take a joke. But when he turns and he says, well, then fucking fight me. Let's do this. Brendan can kill with his bare hands essentially any human being on the planet, statistically. Statistically. Like, there are some that would beat Brendan in a fight, of course. But your average Joe walking down the street, Brendan could dismember them with his hands.
Yes.
So he has something to back that up with.
Mm-hmm.
John, I don't know that he possesses that same set of skills.
John strikes me.
I dare to say John has the physicality of a 60-year-old drunk.
He also strikes me as the guy you could beat with like a face smush.
Well, he's 5'5" and out of shape and 60.
Right.
Like, he's not an intimidating figure. There's no one like if Brendan, listen, if we did a live show and somehow Brendan Schaub heard about it, and he was like, looks like I'm going to be paying a little visit to Boston this weekend.
The show would have to get canceled immediately.
I'd be states away. You'd never see me again. If I was doing a live show and John said, looks like old Johnny's going to take Boston, I would be fully erect. You picked me, John, to come see. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
Of all the people that have made fun of you, little old me. I appreciate it dearly. You're not an intimidating guy, John. Why do you do this time and time again? I forget who it was.
He's from New York. That's why.
I think it was on Point Dabble Point a couple weeks ago. Maybe when I was on, that someone said, we should send a rake to John's house just to see if he steps on it. Because at every turn, this fucking guy.
Definitely would.
By the way, speaking of the Dabbleverse, I don't know if this GoFundMe is still open, but shout out to producer Chris. I hope his daughter's all right. And if you're not aware of it already, producerchris.com is a GoFundMe for producer Chris. His daughter has breast cancer and she's young. So people have been donating. And John started making fun of Chris before this. And then they talked about it on WATP. So everyone was like, oh, John, you're a fucking idiot. And John, on his show, was like, oh, you think I'm a scumbag? Watch what I donate. And then he takes 45 minutes to type in the website. And he gave $50. He was like, what a big man I am.
What's the website again?
Producerchris.com, I believe, is how they set up to get there. It's just a GoFundMe, but
I'm just putting it in the
yeah, make sure it's still up, because I know I think they hit their goal, but make sure it's still up.
Right.
But yeah, so shout out to producer Chris. But yeah, that's very fun. I hope John does stop by Vegas next weekend. That would be very exciting.
Oh, they sailed past the goal.
Yeah, is it still open though?
It's still open.
Yeah, so if that interests you, check it out. But yeah, we'll have a very easy show next week if John stops by Vegas.
Yeah. Let's break down the game tape.
All right. Moving on to yet another beef in this little corner of the internet here. David Collins is in the midst of some turmoil.
This will win Hackride back, I think.
When Hackride back? How do you mean? Oh, yeah. They have a common enemy now.
Yes.
Well, as I said to Hackride, Hackride's part of the family. Another man who's part of the family is David Collins.
That's right.
And so I like to think we support our own here. And so it seems we've got an enemy.
We sure do.
And someone has been fucking with David Collins. Luckily, as it's proven in these clips, my hands are completely clean. But let's hear from David Collins on the latest episode of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show. I will say, I asked David Collins to fill in next week. Seems like he has no guests booked. And I said, do you want to do a fill-in show for us? And he was like, no dice.
That's how you said it, too.
No, he was much nicer than that. But
that would have stunned me.
No, he was much more polite. But let's hear from David Collins.
Finally, we have to get to this, and I really, like I've said before, we try to avoid negativity on this show, so we're going to try to take this as positively as we can and just go through the motions and do some real objective reporting, I think. I'm not really sure, but we're going to have to talk about a little bit about this guest that I would love to have had on the show this month. In fact, we would have loved to have him interview for the reality show and a few other things, or just give me a no and interaction. Now, of course, this is not the first guest that has turned me down or even left the messages on red. People let me know all the time, I'm a little busy, or I'd prefer not to do any shows right now, or that's not a show that I'd like to do. And we respectfully take that answer for what it is, and there's not much you can do about that. But I think that you listening at home here are going to find, just like we did, that this is a completely different circumstance. Of course, we're talking about comedian Ray DeVito.
That's right. Ray DeVito somehow has gotten in his head that he's too big for David Collins, and we can't stand for that. That's a lot of horse hockey, quite frankly.
Yep.
If I may be so bold. Who the fuck does this Ray DeVito think he is? He's ducking David Collins?
I don't like that.
I don't like it at all. David Collins is our guy. Now, I will say, when David Collins first started reaching out to me, I didn't know who he was, so I wasn't necessarily eager to get on the program, but I was open-minded, and I fell in love with the guy. Boy, did I enjoy doing his show.
You still did the show.
I absolutely did. Ray DeVito thinks his shit doesn't stink, apparently. Who the fuck is this Ray DeVito guy? Quite frankly, when I see Ray DeVito invited on the show, I turn it off. I'm like, oh, God, why do people think this man is entertaining? He's a bore. If someone the level of David Collins invites you on, I would think to Ray DeVito, that should be a privilege.
No kidding.
Not a task that you have to do. So let's hear a little more. David goes on to explain this scenario.
Well, why don't we reach out? Why don't we get a conversation going? At this point, I think that's always a good place to start. Before you ask anything of anybody, at least just have a conversation going. So we reach out to him on social media. No response for many weeks. We try to follow up. I'm unable to follow up. So we begin sending a few emails. I get no response. At a certain point, we have guests. We're trying to plan far ahead there, and the show is moving on. I think to myself, why don't I reach out to friend of the show, Blind Mike Geary, and ask him to see if there's anything he could do to assist in this. And I was very embarrassed to even ask for that.
Never a problem, buddy. Anytime.
Always.
Favor.
Never an issue, my friend. That's what I do for my pals, Ray.
If you want,
dickhead.
If you want Coach HP on David, hit me up. I got his number.
Yes.
Carl of WATP, who assured us that he could just send a text and remedy the situation.
And then I remind me.
I have another super chat. Go ahead.
Ray DeVito has apparently blocked David Collins or something. My boy David Collins wants Ray DeVito on his show.
Okay.
And I think Ray DeVito would be a perfect David Collins guest.
For sure.
So I told him that I would in some way, I don't know how to contact Ray DeVito, but we got to get him on David Collins' show.
Oh, I can text him. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, cool.
No problem.
Well, what a friend that guy is.
Carl.
I'd like to have him in my corner.
I'm very eager.
Yeah.
I don't believe that it is anything to do with him particularly, although at this time he is not Carl is not responding to my emails, or returning my emails, I should say. So we'll see exactly if anything's going on. Worst case scenario, I will be seeing him July 3rd. So that will be nice. We'll have a nice lunch and maybe do a show then. So I'm not too concerned about that exactly. I'm I trust that he did what he said he would do there. Anyway.
I like where David's head's at, I gotta say. And I think David probably looks at it and says, this Carl guy could destroy me. You know, who are these podcasts? They could review David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show and wipe me off the map. So I'll say what David might be too afraid to. Carl could be part of this conspiracy.
I think he might be.
That's how high it goes, I think.
I think it might be.
I'm not, listen, I'm open-minded. I'm not going to take it off the table, certainly. Carl could be pulling the puppet strings here. But all I wanted to really show with that clip is that I'm a pretty decent guy.
You have his back.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the story.
I write to him something along those lines. I've been attempting to reach you for a variety of subjects, and that's exactly what it is. We would have loved to interview him for the reality show, first of all, and maybe had him as a guest on the show in the future. But Ray DeVito was kind enough to respond in the comment sections. He assures me at that time, I haven't seen anything, not ignoring you, which is great news. So I respond to him, well, all the correspondents are sending me automatic replies that let me know that he's not seeing them. So there seems to be an issue, and I hope that he would be able to resolve that there. So we wait another week or two, of course. And at this point, I would just like an answer if he's purposely ignoring me, if this is just a prank or what exactly is going on here. So I resort to actually going on to one of his live streams. And this is when, to me, Ray DeVito is revealed to be a liar.
Can I say real quick? David Collins does not get like this. I've never seen him like this.
I saw him briefly before a show, not realizing I saw this until we started.
This is a man pushed to the brink. You know, like to get this type of reaction out of David Collins, Ray DeVito has really crossed a fucking line here. So I can't wait to see what this is.
This is the I'm glad to see you're doing okay, Craig energy that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
Hey, Collins, can I confirm you ignored my correspondence?
Oh my God, Ray.
Correspondence.
I guess what is my correspondence? Is this David? Is this Stevie Lou doing a work like you are the lawyer? You are the lawyer.
Boy, is Ray terrible.
I don't know who you are, David.
Huh?
Can I got to apologize to Hackride. So when Hackride tried to get us to shit on Ray DeVito, I just didn't care about Ray. It's kind of like with Steel Toe. I just don't give a fuck about Ray DeVito. But boy, is he terrible.
Yeah.
Like the few times we've played clips of him, we're like, Jesus Christ, this guy stinks. Why David is going to do him the privilege of having him on at this point is beyond me. But
I hope it's with this energy. I hope he brings mine just to tell him how much of a piece of shit he is.
Well, David did say, I don't know if I have it included, but David did say, you know, perhaps Ray is hesitant to do the show because I'm a bit of a hot interviewer. It's like, I like that attitude, David.
Collins, but I did not get your correspondence.
Oh my God.
That's a lie.
Ray conquered.
Now, one thing about that clip, you'll hear me in the background yell, that's a lie, a little quiet. Incidentally, I was actually on the phone with Hackride as I was listening to this clip. And I was telling him, this is very strange.
Hackride rubbing his mitts together. Yes. Go after Ray DeVito.
This is the moment Hackride's been waiting for his entire time.
I know he is too, because Hackride sent me this actually. Like I always listen to David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But Hackride sent me this one and goes, "You're gonna want to listen to this. Pretty good."
I think we need to take the leash off old Hackride.
I originally thought when I said I messaged Hackride back. I originally thought there's a different story in this episode. This episode is worth a watch. Go check it out. In its entirety, because there's another David was threatened with a lawsuit by someone he made a video of. I don't know if I ever showed you. He made a video kind of like it would be like his Why Are You Laughing versus this podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Why Are You Laughing? I take a little more like serious, I guess.
Yeah.
He did an episode like that about a subject. It was like humor.com or something like that. I forget what funny.com something. And the guy who runs that website threatened to sue him.
Why?
David's making waves. Go check out David Collins. But
he had the fun. He posted on Instagram. He had a man on the street video.
I saw that too. Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, can you tell me a joke?" And the guy was like, "What's the difference between like Santa and a Jew?" And David just goes, "Uh-oh." That was his response.
I saw him do one. They played the game, a game he plays on his show called Sign the Joke.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, this might be a different one though, because he goes up to someone and goes, "Would you like to play Sign the Joke?" And the guy goes, "What's that?" And David just starts reading a joke. And he goes, the guy goes, "Are you asking me a question? What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, he had no idea what was going on. And David was like, "I don't have my buzzer with me, but that was not the right answer."
But David continues here.
Okay.
So you have to ask yourself, what is Ray DeVito hiding?
Great question.
Ray DeVito, over his career, has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He's earned a reputation that's a little tough in Los Angeles, as far as I understand. While I was speaking with Hackride, he actually sent me this clip, which is a Kobe Bryant joke.
Of course he did.
Very distasteful.
ABC News confirming the 5-time NBA champion for the Los Angeles Lakers was among 5 people killed when a helicopter crashed.
I did a new joke. I like the idea of it. Kobe Bryant's like, obviously, it's one of the greatest players of all time. Him dying in that helicopter crash, like you can't really blame that pilot. Like, it's Kobe's helicopter. Like, if I'm a helicopter pilot and Kobe Bryant's on a helicopter and he gives me a pep talk, like, dude, you can do this. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're taking off. I'm doing this. So, like, I'm not going to disappoint the Mamba. It's like getting a pep talk from Michael Jordan. It's like, yeah, I'm going to hit that. I'm going to fucking take it to the hoop. I'm going to do this. And then then he just ran into the wall. Turns out the mountain took the charge. And I saw the replay. The mountain didn't move.
Terrible.
I will say I'm not particularly offended by the joke, but it is nonsense.
It's I think Hackride even said that he's not offended by the joke. He's offended.
What the fuck is he talking about?
He's offended at how bad the joke was, but I don't want to speak for Hackride.
Okay. I remember when Hackride showed me the joke like a year ago.
Yeah.
I thought he was like offended, and I was like, "Oh well, I'm not gonna like try and cancel it." But I was like, "It is a terrible joke."
Awful. It's really terrible.
But David has some more. David has some more dirt on Ray DeVito.
This is his final words on it.
Oh well, he also talked about a car crash Ray was in where he tried to raise funds, and it seemed like kind of a Chad Zumach thing where the funds were maybe going to not exactly what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, definitely worth checking out. If you want to know more about this, go check out David Collins' last episode at David Collins Show on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts.
So you have to ask yourself, why would you be so dishonest with a story like this? Why not just tell the truth? Well, following Ray's car accident, a Kickstarter was started by comedian and healthcare professional Ruby Nicholas. This Kickstarter quickly raised almost $5,000. I would love to have brought these facts to Ray briefly and we could move on from it, I'm sure. I would love to have had him on the show to get his perspective. My speculation, this was one small lie to maybe her or 2 or 3 people that quickly got out of hand and turned into a monetary opportunity. But a large mistake, of course. Would have loved to hear Ray's side to the story here, but as he has insisted multiple times, he's never heard of me and he has not seen any of my correspondence.
Correspondence,
yes. And this is after, I assume, Carl reached out.
Motherfucker.
So who does this Ray guy think he is? This is pretty shitty behavior by Ray DeVito. And by a guy who he doesn't really deserve the benefit of the doubt, quite frankly. You know?
Did Carl reach out, though?
That's ultimately... I got to tell you, Craig, I didn't want to say it.
I did.
That's ultimately what I wonder, too. Is this all Carl's fault?
This can't be.
And an innocent man is being blamed.
What does Ray DeVito have on Carl?
That's what I believe me. It's what I wonder every time he's on that fucking show. I'm like, what?
Like, Hackride, do whatever you want.
But yeah, go support David Collins in his fight against Ray DeVito. And like I said, go listen to the full episode because it's very, it's interesting stuff that he's talking about. So check out our boy David Collins. I had to promote his show this week because he's too big to fill in for us in a couple weeks, I guess.
It's going to be when the which weekend?
The 8th, 9th, whatever. Yeah, but we'll figure it out. All right. What else do we have? Peet Guercio?
That's the last thing we got.
What do we have for time here?
2:10, 2:11.
Oh, yeah, okay. We got time for a little Gersh.
We do. And I think he's on to us
Why do you think that?
because now the laughs are getting cut with the jump cuts.
Oh, you noticed that.
Yes.
Well, we'll get there. Don't get ahead of yourself there, pal. We will get there. But yeah, so if you guys don't remember, we talked about Peet Guercio recently. We originally talked about him a year ago. And he's a guy that records sets in his living room and puts a laugh track over them. There's no way these jokes would be getting the response that they're getting. And there's also no way the level of comedian Peet Guercio is. Like, if you look at his tour dates, if you look at where he's performing and stuff, he doesn't have an audience the size of which is represented in these clips. So let's hear some. This is on his TikTok. On his TikTok, he has over 1 million followers. I forget how many exactly, but quite a few.
Amazon's tracking system is getting so good, it's kind of scary. UPS sends you one email like your package will arrive in 4 to 6 business days. Amazon throws you a pop-up.
Whoa. Go back a little bit. It's very small, but all he says is your package will arrive in 4 to 6 business days. And a few people in the audience go, well, I shouldn't, an uproar, a slight uproar, and go,
So
go back, listen to that again.
And we have proof of how this may or may not really go later.
Yes.
You one email like your package will arrive in 4 to 6 business days. Amazon throws you a pop-up. Our driver is.
Are they supposed to be laughing at the voice he used?
Maybe, but my problem is it's like it's like an arena giving a mild chuckle. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not 3 people going ha. It's an arena's worth of people going ha 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 ha.
78 feet away. Get ready. All right, she's 41 feet. She is in the driveway. She is petting your dog. She is dropping your package now. They're so fast.
Yes, it's so true. GPS has gotten good.
Is always blurry.
Oh, Pete, you son of a bitch. It really is true, though, when you think about it. It's like technology, man. Huh? You know, we've really come a long way.
Am I right?
His joke is that, like, if you track your package on Amazon, you know when it gets to your house.
Isn't that hilarious?
And that's what people... Yes! Guercio! I think it and Guercio says it.
He has a controversial statement.
Okay.
This is a pretty controversial thing to say, but I'm just going to say it. I love Arby's.
Oh, Pete, don't you dare.
Oh, man.
Pete, don't do it. That is so controversial. The amount of times I have tried to voice the joy I feel when eating Arby's, and I get punched in the face and kicked in the nuts every single time.
This guy's doing open mics at like the fucking Wang Theater.
Yeah, that's it, and it's open mic material. Like if Peet Guercio was just a guy that posted his clips on like Reddit or something, I wouldn't pull them and make fun of them. But he's a guy with millions of followers, supposedly. And he's doing it in his living. He's not going to open mics, like Craig said. He's doing it in his living room and adding the laughs. He's cheating.
Whoop, wrong button.
And I'm glad that you all hate it and make fun of it, because then there's never a line. I walk right up to the counter and say, I'll have the best curly fries in the biz, my man, and we low five. How dare you make fun of Arby's? What did they ever do besides have the meats?
Oh.
He is gay Dane Cook.
What I hate about it is he's so on. Yeah, Dane Cook's a good comparison where it's like, it's much more about his energy than what he's saying.
Even
you
Dane
know?
would be like, "Hey, guy, cool it."
Yeah. You don't need to be this on, you know? Pull it back a little.
We gotta have Pete talk about strangers' bathrooms here.
Oh, I mean, Pete, you are going into some controversial territory yet again, my friend. You've taken down Arby's and now this.
I can't believe it.
The scariest horror movie isn't half as scary as the moment when you're in a stranger's bathroom looking for the light switch and then you accidentally turn on a super loud fan. It's so embarrassing.
Oh, is it, Pete? Is that the most embarrassing thing ever? I'm so cute and silly.
They think I'm gonna poo.
Now, I have a bathroom fan, and as a matter of fact, it's right next to my light switch, believe it or not.
Mine as well.
It's crazy. I know. Our homes were manufactured weird. If someone walked into my bathroom and turned on the bathroom fan, it not only would it not, I would never think to say, "What are you shitting in there? What are you doing?"
The spray's under the sink.
It wouldn't phase me in this. I wouldn't notice. I don't think that they turned it on.
I don't either. I always turn everything on when I go in there. It's just easier to remember which switch.
Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. Also, whose bathroom fan is super loud? Like, shit, my ears. Turn off the bathroom fan, please.
You could have warned me.
Ow.
Oh, embarrassing. It's like yelling, "I'm in the bathroom, everybody! And I need you."
By the way.
Yeah.
Did you hear him? It's like yelling and he's whispering because he's in his fucking living room and he has neighbors.
Oh. Wow, that's a great point. Boy, the more you watch Pete, the more you pick up on things. That's a great point. Yes, he's keeping it down because he's not in a comedy club. Despite the raucous laughter. For some reason, he's whispering.
Yeah, listen.
It's like yelling, "I'm in the bathroom, everybody!"
Wow, great point. You guys know how you yell? Hey guys, really seriously, I can't get too loud because
I'm gonna take a shit.
If my landlord texts me again, I'll probably get evicted.
If my landlord texts me again, I'm gonna get kicked out of the club.
Or it's just really embarrassing that my landlord keeps texting me and saying, "Hey, are you doing that comedy thing again?" It's pretty humiliating, so I'm going to whisper this yelling joke.
Air out of it. Sometimes the fan and the light are on the same switch. It's like, I need you, but you're going to hurt me.
Huh? I need you, but you're going to hurt me. So let's play this scenario. Your light fan, your light and fan are the same switch in the bathroom.
Yep.
Someone turns it on, and you say, "Oh, are you going in there to shit because you just turned the fan on?" No, you probably figure they need light, and that's the only way to get it on.
He's gonna tackle women's public bathrooms right now.
Oh, excellent! I was really hoping. Pete is he's the most generic guy, and what he is like if your sister was dating Peet Guercio, you'd be like, "I'm happy because he seems like a nice enough guy."
Yeah.
I do not want to spend time with him on Thanksgiving. I have no interest in having a conversation with this fucking guy.
How's your career?
He seems perfectly nice.
How's your career going? Oh.
But boy, must he be exhausting to talk to.
Girls don't know how good they have it in public bathrooms. Guys' urinals are packed together so tightly that sometimes while you're peeing, you're being rubbed up against by a stranger. The only time two girls in a bathroom touch are when they are helping each other reapply makeup, sharing toilet paper, tucking in a shirt tag, holding a friend's hair back because she's puking, hugging in a selfie.
Listen to these laughs. Listen to how these people manage to stop themselves on a dime at each punchline and then restart their laughter. And he thinks he's Carlin with these lists, but it's like, it's not clever or interesting. Hey, Pete, Sinbad called. He thinks you're a hack. Do women also be shopping when they're out at these public bathrooms? Is it because they're at the mall again, Pete?
Hugging in a selfie, hugging because they're happy, hugging because they're sad, or hugging for no reason.
Oh.
And people are loving it, though.
These are painful.
Pete traveled back to 1994 to get a barrage of laughter at that joke.
Well, he's gonna get a little risque here and talk about some sex games.
Oh, Pete, don't you do it, please.
Before we would have sex, my ex and I.
By the way, This clip is fantastic. He takes a sip of water twice.
Well, because he's lying.
Yes.
We already know he's lying. He's referred to sex.
Before we would have sex, my ex and I, we would play this great game where no matter how long we had been together, we always had to ask for formal consent from the other person. We could be dating for like a year.
Okay, hold on.
We were-
Unless this is for TikTok, so I imagine the context of the joke is there. Unless there's a context we don't know, why is that a funny premise? Why is the crowd already laughing? That's one that by design, by the comic's design, should be getting silence because he's giving you a premise that has never been heard of. You don't quite understand what he means. He's like, me and my girlfriend asked for, and you're like, what? You're not like, oh, Pete, don't even finish the joke. I'm already laughing.
If he ever does a show around here, we have to laugh like it's his TikTok.
Oh, I mean, we're definitely going. That's for sure.
For sure.
Like, may I engage in sexual activity with you? Do I have your permission to disrobe? But there was this one time that we hadn't seen each other for like 3 weeks, and we were both really horny.
Another sip.
So we were texting each other. We were like, I'm going to rock your
Can I tell you why that probably is,
Yeah.
Craig?
Why?
Because he had to retake this so many times.
He forgot if he
that
did.
those two sips are probably 30 minutes apart.
That's true. Good point.
And I was feeling super confident about it until the consent time came around because I asked her, would you join me on the bed? And she asked me, are you ready for this? And that is the first time that I have ever been terrified and super turned on at the same time.
I'm not saying this like to make. I legitimately don't get that one.
I don't either.
Like the others, I get. I'm not saying they're funny, but like I understand what he's saying. I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. But he's entertaining a theater full of people, obviously. So,
Mike, here comes a premise we've never heard before. Old people in passwords.
again, Pete. So you know what? I'll give him credit on the last joke because I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about with the consent stuff. Seems like it's hip because that's a topic at least within the last 10 years.
Yep.
But most of these are like these are premises they would have given Kenny Banya on Seinfeld. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're hack 90s stuff, not even recent.
It's tough. It's a tough one, but here we are. Passwords.
You know when you have to set up a new account for your parents and they go, another password. Do you know how many passwords I have? Yeah, the same number as everybody else. Actually, I have 800.
Fucking get him, Pete!
You have 16. That's adorable.
Yes! Roast those motherfuckers.
Tough.
But I'll tell you, you know where he is learning? He's cutting them off a little sooner, so it's not like rocking and reeling and hanging from the ceiling.
That's true.
You know what I mean? He's cutting it off a little bit so it's not like joke, standing ovation.
Fucking this guy. What a name, too. It's a perfect name for this comic.
It's so perfect all the way down to him spelling Pete the way he does.
Well, that's what I mean.
Peet Guercio.
We have 3 of these left.
Oh, all right. Let's get through.
This one's a tough slog of a fucking one, and it's a minute long.
Okay.
I booked this beautiful Airbnb with a hot tub and an amazing view, but the best part was they had a big yellow lab named Henry, and that was her favorite breed of dog. So I get there early to set up, and when I meet the owner...
The dog named Henry is her favorite breed of dog.
You know, he says a lab, I think, doesn't he?
I rewind the tape.
Go back, you son of a bitch.
I booked this beautiful Airbnb with a hot tub and an amazing view, but the best part was they had a big yellow lab named Henry, and that was her favorite breed of dog. So I get there early to set up, and when I meet the owner to check in, she tells me that Henry died this morning. So I thought, that's...
Okay, whoa, hold on. He might be doing this somewhere.
This joke?
Is the background the same as everyone else?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's got it's not the same, but it's a green screen. There's one that, spoiler alert for I guess everyone. There's a real one in here.
Yeah, well, yeah, we hope so.
Oh, it is. I
Yeah.
watched it 12 times. You
It
can
could be
tell.
AI, but
Yeah, I guess.
It sounded like there was a clap there. That's the only reason I ask.
I'm not going to let it ruin our whole weekend. I'm just going to not tell my
The sound quality is the giveaway. When not the next one, the one after, listen to the sound quality.
Oh no, you're right on that for sure. Yeah.
girlfriend they had a dog at all. So that night, we are in the hot tub watching the sunset when the back door opens to the owner and her entire family marching towards us, holding flowers and a box just about the right size for a beloved yellow lab. Then they proceed.
Yes, we don't question this bit at all. This sounds very real. Go, Pete.
Mike, this is where your eyes are failing you again because the best part of this video that I'm just noticing happened.
What's that?
A thing popped up on the screen that says, DM me for a show at your college.
Guys, if you think this is hysterical, which I know that you do.
Then they proceed to have a full-on dog funeral 4 feet from the hot tub.
Listen to that laughter. How many people do you think that is? 3,000?
I was going to say at least 1,000.
Yeah. All right, I'll go with you there. That's more reasonable. 1,000.
At least.
And they're all on board with the idea that he booked an Airbnb, and while he was there, they had a dog funeral in the backyard while he's in the hot tub. They're like, hey, sorry, we're going to have a dog funeral back here while you're soaking.
Now, we have another one here. This is about cute dog accounts liking his shit on online. And normally I wouldn't spoil that for everybody, but I just really want everyone to watch and listen because the next one is different from the rest.
Okay. All right.
Just use this one as just watch and listen.
I'll tell you when I spot the differences. And mind you, I can't see.
When I get a like on a post from a cute girl, I'm like, oh, cool, whatever. But you know what's way better than that? Getting a like from an account of a super cute dog? Oh my God, that feels amazing. I'm like, what? Doug the pug liked my joke about Snapchat?
It sounds like there might be a few laughs in there, like genuine ones.
Mike, he's learning to become a trickster.
Why do you say that?
All right. Now, let's watch this next one.
Okay.
And for people with sight, you'll know immediately it's different.
Okay.
It's not in 4K. His face is washed out.
The audio's different.
The background looks real.
Yeah.
Now let's listen. Oh yeah, tell us when you realized.
Oh. Wait, what are you suggesting? What's different about that one?
The one that we're about to watch?
No, the one we just watched.
I wanted everyone to just remember what his videos looked like for when I play this one.
Oh, okay. I got you. I don't know if it needed that setup. I think they could have figured it out, but all right.
You hear anything different?
I mean, completely, yes.
You do. Oh, so you do hear a difference.
Yes. Yeah.
People are always saying the Yorkers are mean. I found the opposite to be true. I was on the sidewalk, elderly white lady in front of me.
Why aren't they? This crowd sucks. They're not belly laughing yet.
Did you hear a second ago? One person went woo,
mockingly wooed.
That's what a comedian at Peet Guercio's level should be getting. This is the thing. I wouldn't be shitting on him for this.
No.
Do hack comedy at an open mic. That's what you should be doing. I don't give a shit.
People are always saying the Yorkers are mean. I found the opposite to be true. I was on the sidewalk, elderly white lady in front of me, walking the same direction. And then this 25-year-old black guy passes us on the sidewalk. Older white lady sneezes. Then as he's passing her, black guy goes, bless you. Right? That was nice.
Wow, that's crazy.
One.
I mean, that's the equivalent of 11 people at a Nate Bargatze show, based on these other clips that we've seen.
Yes.
Straight, she was being a good guy, but she didn't say anything back. So like 2 seconds later, a little bit louder this time, he goes, "Fuck you, Dave." But
Hey, you know what?
yell back.
He's getting like those. I think this joke is terrible. I don't really get it. But he's getting laughs. So I say, you know what, Pete? Attaboy.
Yes.
There you go. Do more of this.
She sneezed again. She hadn't said thank you because she was still in the middle of a bunch of sneezes. So he got all embarrassed and he stopped in the middle of the sidewalk and he goes, "Yo, my bad. I did not know you were not done. I want to apologize. I was disrespectful." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
See, he's killing with real human beings. Is that a way, Pete?
Killing is strong.
Well, he's doing okay. That must be like, I remember hearing when Joe List used to open for Louis C.K. He told a story about how like they got done playing this massive theater or maybe even an arena show. And then Louis heard there was an open mic down the street. So he's like, you know what? Let's pop into the open mic. Louis has a hat on and glasses. And he just goes up on stage at the open mic. And, the few people there were like, holy shit, is that Louis C.K.? That had to kind of be what that was like for these people. Like, we're used to Peet Guercio. We can't. No one has ever been able to get a ticket for a Peet Guercio show. Quite literally,
Sold
because
out.
it's in his living room, and there's an arena full of people there somehow.
I remember we checked his website, and the only dates he had was like an open mic in somewhere in California.
Should we give that a try again?
Let's take a peek here.
See where the Gurge is playing, because we got to go to a show. I hope he comes to Boston.
It's PeetGuercio.com. I don't remember.
I can't imagine. Oh, maybe because he spells his name funny.
That's true. Yep. Okay. Live shows.
Yeah.
East. Oh, he's in Austin right now. Tonight and tomorrow.
He's probably the
at
mothership.
East Austin Comedy Club.
Oh, okay. Well,
May 26th. He's got 2 dates on May 26th. Heavyweights, Rocco's Comedy Club, Austin, Texas. And he's
so
also
that means he's doing spots then. If he has 2
correct
shows on the same date.
Correct. Best of the Vulcan.
Okay, nice.
May 27th, he's at Shakespeare's.
Oh, wow. You know what? There's a chance. So when I was in Austin, one night we went to the Red Band's secret show, ATX.
Mhm.
Sunset Strip it's called. If just the stars aligned, I could have been seeing Peet Guercio up there. Can you imagine? I would have shit myself. I wouldn't have known what to do.
So yeah, he has
they locked up our phones.
He has his spot. Yeah, right. He does have his spots up here.
Oh,
Because
okay.
May 27th at Shakespeare's. Monday, May 27th through Tuesday, May 28th, he's at Meat Sweats Comedy.
Okay. So nothing, he's not coming this way anytime soon.
And then May 28th, again, he's on a show called Gay Enough.
Gay enough. Oh, is he gay?
So he didn't sound like that.
He talks about having a girlfriend.
Yeah, but beards, am I right? Dallas. He's in Los Angeles and Dallas. Santa Monica.
Come on, Guercio. Let's get Guercio to Boston.
These are all open mics.
Oh, all right.
I need
It's amazing.
David Collins to get him.
How is a guy with million plus TikTok followers not been able to parlay that into something?
I have no idea.
If the followers are real, I guess.
I'm gonna guess the followers are real, but they're probably like, get a load of this fucking shit.
They might be, but the videos have like only a couple thousand views, so I don't know.
Ah,
Yeah, I wonder.
he's probably using it to sell to colleges or something.
Yeah, maybe. But well, good for Guercio. Well, I hope we see more. Actually, I don't. I hope he keeps posting the fake clips from his living room. But
Yeah.
good for Pete that he's starting to record. I got to say that's a little more psychotic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, so they say they think Shuli's buying views because every one of his episodes has like the same number of people watching live, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So which I don't think that's that weird, but they're like, oh, he's buying views. It would be way crazier of him to once in a while not buy views and there's 7 people watching. And that's kind of what Peet Guercio is doing, and I respect it. I like it.
I kind of like if he owns it. David Collins should try to get him on his show.
I think everyone we talk about, David Collins should try and get on the show. You know?
Yeah, but I would love.
I don't know if there's a person we've talked about that wouldn't be a great David Collins guest.
Him being on David Collins' show and then David playing a clip of this would be awesome.
His big gotcha moment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to Peet Guercio, I guess. Keep doing what you're doing.
That's right.
And this was a fun one.
This was fun.
Happy Memorial Day weekend, all you fine folks.
Everyone look for proof. Please help Terrence Howard out.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, you guys, I mean, we don't have to tell you. You guys remember the womb, so. I won't ask you to prove it. It'd be a waste of your time and mine.
That's right.
But yeah, have a lovely Memorial Day weekend. Support Hackride, like we said at the beginning of the show. He is our brother, whether he likes it or not. He's got us forever. He's part of the family. So go to hackridethedemon.com, support Hackride. All you Hackriders out there, tell him he's loved. Let him know he's part of the Gearhead family, for God's sake. You can also go to verygoodshow.org, support Craig and all the mischief that he gets into, the hijinks.
Please.
But most importantly, if you wouldn't mind going to blindmike.net, and that's where our bread is really buttered here. So support the show for free. All of our links, everywhere you get podcasts, all the links are there. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell people about the show. It allows more people to find the show. So we appreciate that. And then if you want to subscribe, become a member, you can do so on YouTube or Patreon, whichever is your preferred platform. For as little as $5 a month, you get early access and bonus content. So you could have been watching this show a couple days ago. If that interests you, become a member. And I think that's it. Let's get the hell out of here.
And we have a meme transition.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Sappers clear the way. Everyone all the way. Now, this is very interesting. Now, really, ladies, if you're listening, and men, and everybody in between.
If I tell you you've got a homicide, buddy, you've got a homicide.
I hope to hear from you soon.
I am proud to own the Trumpy Bear, and I will always be proud to be an American.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always, rock on.
Stop the baloney, huh? What kind of statement is that?
I wrote it. One of my favorite players to cover when he was here was Mike Vrabel. Tell me Mike Vrabel's story.
Whatever, dude. I keep it cool at the gym.
Piss on it. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike. All right. Stop, my belly hurts.
My dad was in the military.
What's that, sir?
Can you please kindly F off, please?
If a person is on a bridge threatening to jump, how do we know that he wants help?
Anyway, God bless America.